full.
We're full again.
Oh, that's the total of our collective IQ points.
Double digits.
We were double
digits.
What?
Really?
That's a
Should we
different
start
thing.
over now? Let's try that again. Because now we're going to see HR.
See, that's the beauty of starting up your own thing.
No, we have already started.
There is no HR.
For the public and those that are offended, I do apologize. And at the same time,
No, we don't.
this is
HR,
If you don't like
hilariously
us,
ridiculous.
you can press the X button.
Okay, let's get back into focus.
It's over
As if we were ever on focus. Before we begin our episode, we have our final RPs from Corinne Milne.
Corinne Milne.
Milne.
You told me the last name wrong!
I said Milne.
Milne. Corinne
You did it
Milne.
like 4 times and you
The great part is if we mess
it's
it
right.
up, you'll get it right because we'll say it so many times right.
Anyway, Corinne Milne stayed up until like 2 in the morning and then got up 5 hours after that just to make sure that there was a finished Spark art piece. And wow. Corinne,
Yeah.
if you're watching this right now, you are the best lady right now, and we love you all. And because of you, we have a completed set.
By the way, this is a round
Thank
of
you.
applause.
Yes, on a 3D camera.
Look, I know the jokes.
Amanda will pun you as soon as
Yeah.
pick your pocket.
But before we lose more audience to our bad joking, here's the
I thought
art piece,
that's how we
everyone,
got
with
them.
those
Wow.
sexy calves.
Wow.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Luscious, smooth, shiny.
You know what?
And the shading is amazing. All right?
There's so much shading on here. The print, by the way, doesn't do it justice. You really need to look at it on the screen, which I know our viewers are watching. So I recommend to the rest of our cast here, the details on the print just aren't there. You should really need to see it in the 4K resolution on screen.
Oh yeah.
The contrasts are so much better than the print. And what I love about this is the scale is just...
That's thick.
I know he's got thick with 2 C's.
Well, the scale is done...
Foot tall.
The scale is done so well, because otherwise... it,
2 PHs.
So let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
And yes, I said that correctly.
hey, Pippin's happy too.
Pippin is
like what,
just
five
is super talented because of our energy.
He's a beefcake.
Hazel's 5'6", I
crush
want
a
to say,
walnut between
because
his
I'm
ass
living
cheeks.
my tall dreams.
Yeah, you're about here.
If you mad.
Give or take. Up to my chest.
In seriousness,
This is
this is what I
almost
love about this drawing.
5'7".
Is the scale of this drawing. If it wasn't done right, it would look like a man in a suit of armor. But the scale of this immediately shows, and I showed a privileged watcher an advanced picture of this, and they immediately went, "Oh my God, you're using Warforged?" Right away, because the scale was appropriate. It really is a beautiful piece. Thank you,
And most
Corinne.
Warforged, and this one was even a harder piece because most Warforges don't wear armor. So in order to make a fully armored mechanized Warforged to look like a Warforged with armor and not just a suit and a man is a bit of an achievement. So thank you, Corinne, and I'm sorry for messing up your last name again. I tried the double check.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing that push-up challenge very soon. I've been practicing. Have you?
Yes, I have. Oh, trust me.
I'm up to 50, and
after
I've got
DMing
50
this
more to
group, I need to
go.
get my aggression out somehow, okay?
Personally, I don't think any guards would come near that thing.
I know.
Why do you, it's like letting a tank into a city. Why do you think the guards keep pointing them out and saying, "Don't pull a sword out, we will take you down"?
I'd like to point out, I'm 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
And it looks it. It looks it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
yours,
the
by the way.
second tallest person here.
It's
So,
like letting
I mean,
a
the-
tank into the city.
Actually, I might not
The monk
be.
in our group comes up to about my chest.
I'm 5'7".
So right
So
about here.
one of the things
Living
that
out my tall dreams.
if you everyone just a second focus please. One of the things that Corinne will be working on here is a group picture to show all the scale of all our different cast members and characters. That's a huge amount of work. We already know how much work it was just to put together one individual of all of us, and she's working on that. So it's going to take some time, but the moment it's done, we're going to share it with you with the greatest of pride. So keep staying tuned, and we'll keep you posted on
Now,
when we expect
we
to see
keep
that.
forgetting this. Before we forget, let's finally put it all together
That's
and
right.
take it apart. Yeah.
Finally, on the last one, we're doing it at the right
I know.
time.
Yeah, it took us a while, guys, but you know, better late than never. Hello.
All right, so
Da, 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 da.
Sparks, you are now live.
Yeah, and we're complete.
I messed up my dice.
I was gonna say that purple.
Yeah, we're
before.
still.
Now we die.
I just like to point out,
And Ginger even cried out, "Yeah!"
I also find it funny, if you actually look at the scale of the sword with sparks, that sword is more like a great sword than anyone else. And I'm using it as a one-handed longsword.
Where'd you get that greatsword, son? I use it as a longsword.
By the way, a piece of trivia for all of you who might not know: a longsword is actually not called a longsword because the blade is long. It's called a longsword because the handle is long. Because you can use it as a one hand or two hand. It's just long enough to hold as two hands, but light enough to hold or to wield as a single handed. This coming from someone who does live steel combat in unchoreographed form, which, by the way, will hopefully be teaming up with a group in who does.
It's 7:40. It's almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know, but our audience is sure going to want to hear this, right? You want to hear it?
I didn't hear anything.
Sword fighting, yeah.
Sword fighting, yeah. No,
be called long
well, we've got a lot of friends who do not only unchoreographed live steel combat, which highly trained. We also have choreographed combat from many of folks who do so as extras and so forth in the Hollywood.
And that's why I'm going to stop you there, because we need to get back on track, because we are playing D&D!
Yeah.
Not sword fighting.
Well,
Yes, we are sword fighting.
we will be showing off some of that in the near future.
Yeah, sure. But I have a plan of adventure for you. You're going to shit on it and make your own adventure, and we're going to call it ours.
Welcome to D&D.
Damn right.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's get to our episode 11, part 1 of To Get the Reroll.
Yeah.
Roll intro.
Dun, 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 dun.
If we ever had an intro. But maybe not.
By the way, working on it.
Yeah.
Look for it. It's coming.
Yeah.
Now that we got all the art pieces, it's
But
coming.
until then, let's do a small recap to get us back into the setting of Vilmara of the Verosian Empire. Vilmara being the world. Anyway, a lot of V's. So, just a little bit recap of the Kyndred Strangers, not the Kyndred Spirits. The Kyndred Strangers matters as of recently. After getting onto the sky ship, after paying a hefty sum and having acquaintances with a less than friendly looking individuals on the Big Bird, known as the sky ship, as you traveled quite literally a month worth of just walking into 5 days. Roughly about 5 days.
Excellent.
I think it was like 5 and a
Still
half
just
days,
as
something
much
like
XP.
that. But not even 2 days into the journey, you were met with some suspicious movement across the ship, and eventually found out that the cages, along with several other situations, the cages holding a undead beholder and a death kiss have been opened up to the point that they could break out. A battle on the deck of the Big Bird skyship, 3,000 feet in the air, with the very imminent death of falling over, with plenty of Wilhelm screams.
My favorite screen.
I think it's everyone's favorite scream. Right? Seriously.
A little louder, please.
Well, all right.
Here we go. There we go.
For those that didn't quite hear it. By the way, we need to make the microphone a little higher so that they can hear me properly.
Oh, certainly. We'll add it. Let me add that in.
Yeah.
I'll do that right now.
Yes.
No, we'll need that.
You vanquished and took care with a bit of style, I have to say, and in quick combat succession. You took care of the undead beholder, took him out just fine, as the Death Kiss tried to take off with 2 of your companions. Sorry for those that are listening with a headphone right now, because you just grabbed the microphone part.
Oh yeah, scratchy.
Yes.
There we go.
Like a real profession.
That's okay, there's a peak, it'll only go so loud.
Still not pleasant to hear.
No, it's not.
Anyway, you vanquished the enemy. The Death Kiss went away, seemingly not very interested in taking out those that were on the ship, just leaving.
Well, it fell behind.
Thus, you made suit against and investigated those that you thought were behind the releasing of these monstrosities or aberrations. With a very well-groomed halfling, seemingly being the owner of the horned mass that traded exotic animals trained and enslaved. you found a merfolk locked in a small container on board of the sky ship with a little bit of assistance of a very strange man that always smiled and had strange etching upon his teeth. He was sketchy as fuck. But you captured him, found him hiding in a barrel, found a couple of contraband along with forged papers with him. At the same time, found a drow spy / assassin as the lady threw one of them over the edge. As another assassination attempt was tried upon the lady with a seeming spell on. This is why I don't do that.
Sorry, it was hot. Got muggy in here.
California needs to figure its shit out.
Anyway,
That's true.
the train just wants to have fun too, guys. I know.
Hey, I like trains.
You investigated her, had a conversation as she was continuing to dissect / investigate the undead beholder with various people. With Hazel, Davros would have been a part of the conversation, but you weren't here that day. Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah.
With Derick, Sunny, having a very interesting revelation of what she thought you might have been, being a son or a child of a herald of death, or in what she is believing, even at least touched by it. But you have some sort of connection to the herald of death. And looking upon your rock, your friend Flan, seeing that it's some sort of planar anchor of some sorts, as far as you could decipher. As you guys continue forth through the winds, traveling over the lands, throwing that fish that gave you a hickey over the edge.
Well, no, it wasn't the devilfish. It was the.
It was the devilfish
devil
that
shark.
bit.
Oh,
it was a devil
that's
shark.
true. We threw that overboard
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. That's right.
I thought you just closed the lid back on it.
Yeah, and then they threw the whole thing over.
And then we slid the whole
Yeah.
thing over the edge.
Well, I'm not ready for manslaughter.
You're just leaving a trail of blood across where you're traveling, guys.
You didn't even say look out below. But then again, they wouldn't have heard you anyway.
No,
Unless you use thumb
True.
but
Unless you use thaumaturgy.
amongst many other things, you were trying to investigate on what was going down and found that you are stepping into something much bigger than you initially intended to. Still with an unclear picture of the big picture of what's going on this vessel, as multiple things are happening, you got closer to the dwarven city of Girdun. The now named simple dwarven city, in a active volcano. As the skies turn into a sickly but almost beautiful in its own right, amber color as ash and soot filled the skies and blew to the south. No, not to the south. Blew to the west, if I remember correctly. I'm terrible with the directions. I'll have to look that up later. Anyway, where you're looking at it to the left. East. I'm terrible.
Final answer?
I think east, yeah.
That was where it's headed.
As multiple points that are hidden over the ridges. You don't actually see the actual point of the mountains as various different risings of what you can only gather, only suspect that multiple volcanoes have erupted in the same place in a very unnatural display of Mother Nature's powers and wrathful vengeance upon those that are living around it. But it is not fully exploding, but just slightly simmering of multiple points over the ridges of where you cannot see past it. As you guys see this enormous, upon the in a valley, as you go towards it, in between the valley, you see a hardy dwarven village that is separated a few hundred feet before the actual front of the mountain that has been carved out into just impossibly ridiculous size carving of a keep front that has been chiseled out of the mountain itself upon the flat side of this still active volcanic mountain that have two equally massive dwarven guards on each side of each opposite side of the keep, holding themselves and protecting those that it is watching over, which is dwarfing the small village in front of it.
These are carved guards.
Carved out of the mountain.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
not actual
Wow.
giants.
That's right.
It
Wow.
is ridiculous, gaudy, and honestly, pretty fucking awesome. As you see the entrance, the true entrance into the dwarven city of Girdun, inside known as the Forge City. You see at the entrance, still far away as you land in between the dwarven village outside and the mountain, as you're a bit of an in-between state right now. You see a bit of a fluorescent orange fire at the center of the keep. Still pretty massive, but nothing compared to the actual dwarven structures that has been carved out of the mountains. As you guys land and get closer to the ground possible, you hear several alarms go off. Ding, 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 as repeated whistles pierce your ears and pierce the wind as you get closer and closer to the ground. As you find yourself in another airport, very similar to the one in the other city, but instead of like a Catholic cathedral, it's the same shape, but it's covered in dwarven architecture and just stretched out dwarven faces, dwarven guards everywhere, and it's just 100% just taken over by dwarves, in a point that it's almost a strange satire of Welcome to Dwarf Town. As you finally land into the half water port or pool, this strange airship that lands, as soldiers begin to raid the vessel and begin to take care of everything that is needed, sectioning off the area, making sure no one leaves or enters or gets close to the vessel, as the various crew members begin to close up the sails, and as the sails actually pull inwards above you, creating a nice canopy from the sun.
That's nice.
Well, that's nice. Snazzy. Snazzy.
About what time of
Do
day
you
are
guys
we
hear
arriving?
the...
Yes.
Okay. I can't hear myself because it's on that side, so anyway.
Make it a little louder.
You didn't make it loud.
Yeah.
We can
As
barely,
these commotion-
we barely hear it ourselves.
Well, you're going to have to
I
change it
don't
on
hear
that
it at all,
side.
actually.
There we go.
Nope. Beautiful. We found it.
No, I'm talking about this, guys.
Nothing.
Supposed to.
No, there is. There's something.
I feel like if we start running, we'll be
I don't want to have it too loud. So.
chased.
It works. Bring it up. I can't do anything.
That is what I do best.
It's full max.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's
Especially when I
Sorry,
have about
everyone,
20
we
guards
have
behind me.
technical difficulties, but we'll make it.
But that's
work.
beside the point.
We'll make it interesting. So, as about 15 guards are now taking the perimeter, no one has entered and no one has leave as of yet. There's a couple of commands from the crew members and the captains giving various commands, making sure the vessel is properly docked for an airship. As you actually now feel a weird listing sensation of being on water, from going from skyship to water. It's very unusual and it sets you off a little bit. But for some of you, very welcoming for those that have been having trouble with the skyship and how it's moving. As the guards, as you see more guards coming in, as you see the captain ushering everyone that is part of this vessel to the top of the deck, getting everyone up, as you see the drow in chains, lightly covered, but chained up and wrapped up in about 4 sets of monocles.
Manacles.
Manacles. No, she just has monocles all day.
I'm still following.
I will never fall asleep again. What have you done? It's like,
Anyway,
got all these monocles drawn on her face.
yeah, the Archmage Lolo, still in her corner, not really moving, but she's also on the deck. The various other patrons, about a handful, maybe 6 of them, that were also part of the ship, but just kind of kept to themselves because of so much stuff that's happening. Yeah, they're just like, nah, we're good. But they are also part of the investigation of what's going on, because nothing is being ruled out until they are properly investigated. Because whatever happened on the ship is not good. At the, you also have what is going on? My notes, my notes. Here comes the bacon.
What?
Did before you get any further, you turned in the tickets to the captain? Did he give us the money back?
Not yet, actually. Yeah. You did give him the tickets. You did give him the tickets. That I will say. But he did not give you the money yet, as well, first of all, he doesn't have the money with him. It's in the bank.
Okay.
Yeah. But at the same time, you have the creepy dude with the smile, with his bunch of rags. He's currently tied up with basic ropes around the hands and ankles, and is just sitting down on a bench, just looking around, just smiling, seeing all the movements all over the place, and he's just kind of looking around, twitching a little bit every time there's a loud thud or snap as people are lifting things up and placing it down. And you also see the rich gentleman, if anyone remembers his name.
Oh, if I got something to say about it.
Mr. Firecrotch?
No.
I never
Oh,
talked to him.
names.
What's his name?
The rich guy I never talked to.
The troll? Little guy?
Monko guy?
No. Rich guy. Got
Sir
making
Panic.
stuff to the-
Yeah, creepy little smiley dude.
No,
No,
not
nothing. Okay,
He didn't really give. He
You gotta
gave a
pay
name.
50 gold.
I'll leave it at that. But no,
No.
I'm talking about Sir Panifix, the halfling that dressed in the nice doublet, poofy pants, and spandex that go all the way up past his boots. He's currently
I got it.
has shackles on, and his face looks like he got. It looks like he just went to a fight club, and his face is just overly swollen and several black eyes, and he's just sitting there with pouty lips.
It wasn't me.
We feel that.
It
And you see
wasn't,
several.
it wasn't the monk.
Yes, several cuts and bruises across his face, and a couple of tears.
Oh my.
And he's just sitting with the group, along with the drow and the creepy dude, working in a strange lineup. As people are ushered onto the front bar deck. As that's all happening, what would you like to
I
do?
wanted to do his makeup before we landed.
Oh, very well. And what are you making him look like?
Same thing.
Clown.
Clown.
Oh,
That's
Creepy
good.
clown.
After 10 years.
Too bad. That was 17 for the makeup and for scariness. Nope, he looks like the nicest, happiest clown you've ever met in your whole damn life. He's Ronald McDonald.
oh no!
That's a scary
What do you roll?
clown.
Terrifying.
What did you roll?
For an intimidation, a 1.
Oh my god.
For the makeup, a 17.
Oh, so you're trying to make it.
I was just trying to make it look scary again, and it hasn't worked a single time. I've tried.
Okay, so
Which is good.
yeah,
I don't know how to make it scary.
You're just too nice.
Barian, you're in your good-natured self. You can't really get mad. You've never really been mad before. There's been a few times you've been mad, but it's really hard
I
to get you
can-
mad.
I can think of one time I got mad.
Yeah.
I can teach
It didn't
you.
end well. But you don't like going to that place. That's like a dark place in your head. And you just continue going. You're just so happy. And you just make them just this happy, like scary happy. Ronald McDonald.
Like a smile that goes on for miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Just goes all the way
We'll call him
out.
Mr. Wrinkles.
And even though his sonny's eyes are not big, it makes it look like his eyes are just popping out of his skull. It's like,
The actual eyes are the pupils of the eyes.
That's a little creepy.
yeah.
Yeah, when he's done, I turn around and alter self to look like the Joker.
No.
Basically. Big smile.
Like which era of Joker? Are we
The
talking
newer
about?
one, the big smile, the one that looks like an actual clown.
Okay. Fair
Oh,
enough.
like on
Walking
the playing
Phoenix.
deck
No, the
Joker.
new
you
one.
know.
Yeah, the playing
Alter
deck.
self
Like in the
lasts
playing
for an
deck.
hour, if I
All right.
remember
Not the
correctly.
1
Joker.
hour. Yep.
Okay.
A Joker.
Not yes.
So if it fades, I'll
not
still
not
have
the
my makeup
Joker in the comic books because those are copyrighted, but the
No, not at all.
Not the Joker.
the
Everything's
Joker
copyrighted.
the Joker
We
in
can say
a deck of cards.
Okay.
Sure.
A
And,
Harlequin Joker.
There we go.
There you go.
okay, sure. I was just wondering if you're doing like the high cheekbones and pointed chin kind of deal.
No,
So I was
just a
wondering.
big smile and
Right?
Okay, that's fine. Easy
And
enough.
blue diamond.
And I will say you would have to wipe off the makeup that your brother just did because you can change your skin tones, but Alter Self doesn't do actual.
well, my skin tone's already white.
Yes, and he just painted over it.
Okay, I'll leave it that way then. I won't alter self.
Okay.
Would I be able to attempt to, like, figure out how to mimic someone else's walk that isn't a monk?
Make an investigation check. And who are you looking? There's a couple of crew members. There's
Put
people
a
walking
pebble in
around
the
behind you. There's a captain
Yeah.
walking around that has a not a bastard sword, a cutlass.
I'll try mimicking Barian, actually.
Make an investigation check.
What kind of a walk does Barry have? Bear?
Investigation is a 12.
12. Okay. So he's walking around a little bit. And Barian, how do you walk around?
Probably with a slight skip.
With a slight skip.
God
and
damn it!
You never
I picked
really.
the wrong brother.
I imagine
anyone
you're
in the
never
party.
really sitting still. You just
I
kind
kinda
of
have
just
swagger.
always sway and move kind of deal.
There's a song going on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
It's rock music.
At least that's how I envision it.
Of
Can
course.
I try Sunny instead?
So, certainly, as you go to the exact opposite comparison of yin and yang, from a happy Barian to somewhat moody and unchipper like Sunny, with the creepy makeup on his face.
I have been not unchipper. That is no.
You emanate
He's been
shadow.
perfectly fine.
And you just look like that.
I look happy now.
Yeah, you look scary.
He's a happy shadow.
I'm sorry,
Make
my
an
walk's not good
investigation
enough
check.
for you. So you may make my walk, I assume, with that.
So looking at Sunny doesn't really move, talk, or breathe.
Or breathe. Oh my god.
Looking at him, you get that sixth sense.
It's in
That's
timeout.
right. I've never seen
On
your
my character sheet?
I've never seen your growl go out or in.
Once per minute.
Once per minute. Yeah, so Hazel, looking at him, you're looking at him specifically, and you're like, breathe. Breathe.
This is the first time I noticed that you don't breathe.
Exactly. And,
Hazel.
And you're about to bring it up, and then suddenly you hear,
Hazel, I see.
and that's it.
I see that you are attempting to.
Well, right
Walk
now
in
I'm
the-
just now I'm just watching.
But you're watching everyone's gait. Are you trying to?
Would you know that?
Are you trying to actually mimic one's gait? If you need an example, I can help.
I'm not sure that me mimicking your gait would help very much. I don't think
it's
it'd be.
usually a heavy thud upon the left leg.
You just see Gaw rubbing his temples.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind, Ek.
I'm always here
Hey,
to
God.
serve.
God,
Devros.
you have the right thing going on there with the circle. Just saying. We only need one hand for that.
I do not understand this analogy.
With this colorful bandana that now has a bit of a. Actually, for the amount of times he's morphed on this vessel, his bandana, 100% clean.
Okay.
His bandana actually is a red bandana with a little bit of flare of a fire lotus on the right side that is wrapped around. Oh, is she getting a little bit nippy?
Yeah, she's tired.
Okay.
So she's gonna go. ahead.
Well, as that's happening, Derick, welcome back, by the way. Is there? I mean,
Never.
as this is going on,
Dude, I'm
as you see
trying to
now,
look
maybe
as
20 guards
like,
have surrounded the area, and they have not entered the vessel yet.
I'm trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. I am not
You're blue.
walking, I am not
Yeah.
moving, I am just sitting like the best damn citizen you've ever seen.
Mindful, you are the only blue elf here.
Yeah, I can only do so well at this.
Would you like your costume?
No.
That was through here.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
So it's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's the most talkative you've been in several days.
I can make you green. I can make you green so you don't look the
I
same.
don't know if green would.
Or purple.
Nightmares tonight.
You can add some white to his hair. Maybe you can pass as an icicle or something.
So, having
Oh, let it go.
looked at both of, can I just attempt to
Sure.
What is this?
Sinner.
Yep.
performance? Yep, that's gonna be a -1. Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
that's a 9.
Nah. You feel like you're doing okay.
Okay. It's
Okay.
all bad. Why are
And who are you mimicking?
Anything below what? Kids put in jail.
Who are you mimicking, if I may ask?
Well, I was not able to mimic him, so I guess I'm mimicking Sunny.
I mean, you.
Barian, and so, I guess I'm just not good at skipping.
Yeah,
Did you
well,
switch
there's not a lot of movement right now as people are being ushered up and basically being lined up in a row right now. As now on each part of the ship there is a clear line of row on both starboard and port side of the ship. And except for the lady, the archmaid, which has just kept her corner in the back.
How does a monk walk? Like, what's so distinct?
They
If you
kick
look at
every
their
single
feet,
time.
no, one martial artist to another. When you look at their feet, they use their entire foot and they kick off with their toes. They don't lead with their front part of the foot or back part of the foot. And a lot of people.
I'm not gonna know this shit though. I can't
No.
help her.
No.
No, you can't.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm
A
not
lot
gonna
of
notice
people,
No,
and
no.
you can look on their shoes. There's a lot of heel, and they destroy their heels on their feet. Meaning on their shoes. There's a lot on the heels, and which is why they have a loud thumping sound when people walk. Versus a martial artist, they use their ball of the foot and move forward to the toes.
There's a lot more even distribution of weight.
Yep.
I mean, I'm light on my feet, but I'm not gonna know any of that.
Unfortunately, well, make a investigation check. You might.
Put this in your shoe.
I don't even know what she's doing. I'm more focused on
fair
myself.
point.
I wouldn't be able to help her.
He was right.
No, roll a stealth check at disadvantage because you are a sea elf in the driest country.
And I'm not trying to hide. I'm just trying to not look too noticeable.
Still,
so-
you are a sea elf at a volcano.
That's
No, I know.
So there's a pebble in my shoe now.
Oh man, a disadvantage.
To make her
At
walk.
disadvantage.
One of them was a nat 20.
Oh.
But the one that wasn't a nat 20 was still ended up being a 24.
Not bad. Still pretty good for being disadvantaged. So you
I got
blend
a
into the
20
ground as
before.
best as you can. Sorry, why is there a pebble in your shoe?
To make her walk different.
Okay.
That's smart.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit.
Walking around with a pebble in your shoe.
That's a 12.
12. It is annoying as hell.
Yep.
So it's gonna make you irritable. Derick,
Roll
is
to
there
be
anything you're
annoyed.
doing with your master
Now
self?
I'm irritable.
I think
Think
I'll
out
go
of
down
my
and
snake.
take care of the horses. And maybe hide underneath the cart.
You missed the whole thing.
Make a stealth check. At disadvantage because the captain is looking for you and making sure you're sitting up top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm still in front
So
of
if
the
you,
deck.
I could say a few words with the captain, ask him.
the captain is right now.
Oh, he's busy.
He's way busy right now. He is currently giving commands, making sure everything's taken care of, and at the same time making sure the prisoner. He has double duty right now.
All right.
But if you're trying to hide yourself, yeah,
Now I'm irritable.
Okay, well, a 28 work.
at disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage?
I concur.
15.
15. Okay, as you begin to move with the crowd and try to get into the location of the horses, which is top side front part of the ship. No, wait, it's back part of the ship. What am I talking about? As you start to go over there and go towards the door, you notice that it's locked, and one of the crew members come over and, "Hey, get back in line,
You didn't say please.
please.
Oh, well, that makes all the difference.
Fuck off!" As you go back to duty.
Hey, I thought
The
we've
minute
been
he
guards.
leaves, I try to go through the door.
Haven't we made friends with these
Said
people?
the minute he leaves, I
We've
try to
been
go through
working
the
with
door.
them.
We showed them up.
You did show them up a little bit. There is a respect. So yeah, after saying "fuck off," you do hear as the captain just slaps him in the back of the head. And with no words, the captain just eyes him and just motions with his head, and the crew member just immediately goes back to work. Please get back in line. Try not to make it more difficult for me. Thank you.
I'm just standing in the middle of everything, with trying to be out of
There's
from
no
underfoot.
chance in hell you're gonna sneak away.
No, I'm just standing. I'm standing in the middle, and I'm trying to be off from underfoot.
The barrel will play.
Blast.
Fair point. So at this point, there has been about 30 guards that are now surrounding the entire vessel, and then you hear 3 more whistles, high-pitched whistle that is actually a vessel whistle that the captain is blowing.
Like a bosun whistle.
But he's not doing a long.
Yeah.
He's not doing a long whistle. He just does a 3 quick succession, 3 quick recession whistles of just a generic, like I guess we're ready kind of deal.
Derick,
That's it.
Derick, what does that mean? I have a feeling you might have some idea of what ship sounds are like.
It means we're disembarking.
Well, we're disembarking. That is the sound of disembarking.
Stay on the ship.
Are there dogs?
As the captain,
But that is the sound of we are staying on the ship.
Yeah, disembarking. It's the opposite of embarking.
As you start to hear various planks of wood that hit the various parts on the outer edge of the ship that are starting from below, as again on the both sides, on the side of the ship actually open up above the red marker to actually see the inner parts of the vessel as where all the things have been loaded onto the barge itself. And you hear the various footfalls of the soldiers going through the bottom parts, investigating the area, as all the patrons, including you guys, are on top of the deck and you're just waiting for the orders. As this is happening, you notice movement from the lady about the archmage looking over. For those of higher perception, Derick and Devers.
16 not high enough?
Unfortunately, no. She's a little subtle. As you see movement, as she looks over to the side and seems to see something, and then immediately start muttering towards her bodyguard, which is the monk, the half-orc.
Can I peer over the side to see what she was looking at?
Make a perception check. The devil shark's back.
No!
No, the devil shark.
I have a taste for torment.
I don't see anything.
Davers,
No.
you also notice this.
Nice.
Perception. I only rolled a 6.
Ew.
I take it I don't notice this.
Wait.
No, not with you.
I rolled 11.
20?
Modified.
Alright, that's fair enough. But looking over to the port side of the ship, where she was looking past the various crew members that are still running back and forth, getting the various rope out of the way and making sure that the, I guess you would say folded up, but it's like more hung back at the same time, and they're making it taut, and it still has a bit of a pull to them. So now they're not just hanging loose, they're actually still folded out, like there's actual wind pushing on them, of the no longer red sails that are now a pasty gray with a silver metallic lining of where the arcanic symbols are. You notice that there's a carriage of just a basic carriage that pulled up recently and went past the guard line that has been put up as a perimeter for the guards, and a couple of individuals stepped out of what looks to be a dwarven female that is in heavy dwarven plate and has the symbols of what you got there is a captain of the guard for the region, and the individual next to that captain of the guard is a human, as best as you can tell from the distance that you're looking, maybe 100 feet away, at an angle. A human that is dressed in ornate black half-plate armor, with various tassels that are just hanging off of his armor, and along with the tassels in his cloth-covered half-plate armor, it has ornate symbols that are just symbolic in nature that seem to go around and orientate itself at the very center of it, of a bronze-colored traced outline eye, half opened, with his hood up as he starts to walk over, along with his book that he's holding that has various other bookmarks that seem to have gold laced into the silk on this very thick tome that has the same eye symbol. And he seems to be moving towards it, and you see the archmage speaking to her guard and to the half-orc, very low and subtle. With a 20 perception, you don't really hear them over the ruckus of the ship right now.
Oh, that's fair. Who's near me right now where I'm sitting?
We're all on top decks.
You're all on the top deck, and you're pretty much next to each other.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be like muttering this, like relaying this information, like, hey, there's a person who looks like this kind of thing. Just trying to relay as much of this information as I can.
Okay. Talk freely. As you
Just that.
okay. Make a perception check. Well, actually, you don't even do that. As you run across the ship and look over it, you see the gentleman. Make a perception check, actually, real quick, to see if you get more information.
By the time
There were people I didn't
14.
14. No, you get the same thing, but you definitely see that he's a paler, even though he's still tan, paler-skinned human that doesn't see a lot of sunlight. But he has his hood up. He looks up, and you notice that there's a lot of scarring on his right side of his face. That looks. Well, actually, that's all I can tell from before.
Human, right?
I walk
Yes.
over and say, "Come on, back in line."
Oh.
And I look over just to see what he's looking at as I pull him back.
Yes. With Barry and waving back, he just looks up, continues onto the ship.
Making friends?
I was trying to. Why'd you pull me away?
Because we're supposed to be in line.
Oh, I go back.
Before we depart, it would be nice to be able to see those cages and like that the creatures were held in.
Yeah, no.
Yes, no.
Yeah, it would be nice. No, we stay in line.
I thought we already looked at them before.
No, we didn't. We studied the crates that weren't open, but not.
No, we studied the ones that were open.
Yeah.
Well, we had determined that the locks were
you
done
didn't
with
actually
acid.
investigate after they were opened and pulled open. You went to them and you just found the bodies and you were distracted.
No, she looked looking at stuff. We were down there. She was looking at those while they were playing with the chest and exploding stuff.
Yeah.
Then I do apologize.
I was just trying to keep away from things that were exploding and giving me hickeys.
Give me hickeys.
But anyway.
Is that thing going to heal?
I'm a turtle. I don't get many.
We know.
Ouch.
That's because it's very long when he does.
Your reaction is not helping.
That you don't
Let's
get
just-
bit very much by sharks on the neck? That's horrible.
No, it's
Is that what referred to as a hickey?
Same question.
Well, where I'm from,
So where you're from, that's probably a good
yeah, sometimes.
Does that happen quite often?
So, when a mommy turtle and a daddy turtle.
Oh,
Hazel! Your
Yes.
your
Baron, what was that
sixth
song?
sense goes off as you feel a bit of your
You
hair.
can imagine that camera zoom move over us. A mommy turtle and daddy.
That's a new rock song.
Your sixth sense goes off as you are now unfortunately familiar of this just unpleasant chill of death looming over you. As you turn around and you see the half-orc in his black monk robes with the black phoenix on his back. You can't see right now. Looking down with you, holding a rather medium-sized sack, purple, that seems to be not painted, but embroidered with blue and red flowers around it. It has a nice golden silk top to it. Hands it to you.
Thank you.
And speaks to you actually, even though he gives that just death eye.
Yeah, kill me in my sleep. Yeah.
That kind of, yeah. It's kind of his thing.
Yeah. Moving on.
The lady wishes you to guard this with your life. Penguins inside. Be careful when you open it.
Do I get to know what it is?
He leaves.
The answer is no.
Thanks.
The answer to that question is no.
And that's why you're the least popular group.
That's why you read the contract before you accept it.
So you have that purple sack now. What would you like to do with it? As you were just kind of handed this in the middle of things, and you notice with your 16 perception, you did it very, very quickly, with very few people actually seeing it happen.
Do we have our bags actually around us and everything, or
You have your people equipment. You don't have your wagon and stuff like that. That's downstairs. But you have your basic satchels and sacks with you. Yes.
How big is it? The bag?
It's a sack, but it's been elongated, and it definitely has something somewhat heavy in it.
You could shove it in my liver.
Multiple things in it.
Do
Actually.
you know how long it's been since I played cat in a bag?
y'all didn't see nothing?
Did we?
No, they were close enough. They saw this happen,
Okay.
but it happened so fast that they started to turn around as he was leaving.
Oh,
How many people are around us?
around you besides you guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
And are we like up against a wall or
no,
in the
you
middle?
are away from the.
Like at the mast.
You're at the mast, lined up one side, and then there's the other side that's lined
So
up back to back.
we know this happened?
You saw this happen, yeah.
With a flourish, I take my cloak and pull it up and hand it to her.
I would like to look, like have the cloak around me and look inside the bag.
Open it up.
I wouldn't put it past that fucking asshole.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Called it.
As you-
Called it.
Oh, boo-hoo, +8.
1.
Snake.
It was almost a 20!
Instead.
It went to an 8, so it's a 16.
Okay.
16. So as you take the bag and take the cloak over and you open it up, the tassel that keeps it closed and it was knotted tightly unfurls and grabs your face.
Whoa.
And you start trying to pull it out, off your face, and it just, and you're just kind of stuck underneath the cloak right now. Just like,
I'm not gonna
She
move
must
around.
be really excited about
I'm
what's
not
in
gonna
that
move
bag
around
right
too
now.
much. Can I still talk?
you can still talk, even it's muffled, as it's kind of taking your top part of your mouth, and it is just almost like a
Sonny,
face
I
hugger.
require some assistance, please.
Hey, X, come here.
Yes.
Do
you wish to talk about
I'm
the-
making it all like a performance, just goofing off.
Oh, good. You like to talk about the origins of the universe.
Because you're trying to make a notice of some work.
17.
Okay.
Oh, are we making music?
No, I'm doing just thing.
You're doing a what
Do I need
thing?
to perform check? Is it-
No, this is just as a deception check. Unless you're trying to.
Oh, it was deception?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said perception.
No, deception.
Oh, no. That's
Much higher.
16 plus 8.
Whoa.
That's a difference. Okay.
Yeah.
So 16 plus 8, that's going to be a
What the hell
24.
perception check is there?
24.
Sorry, 24, 1 point different. So,
Although
I mean,
DM math, that's
so
good.
as
25
you
's fine.
see, so Sonny, you've seen a commotion happen as soon as she opens up, and you hear, as
Trying my best to not move around.
yeah, and you
She's
still see
really
her,
excited.
you see her head still underneath the cloak as she's trying to do something. You're not quite sure. What would you like to do in order to cause a commotion towards attention towards you?
No, I'm just doing the whole mime thing in front of her, and like, oh.
Oh, okay. So you kind of lean over
I'm
and
just being
make it a
goofy.
little harder to see her and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I'm like being
Okay.
goofy, juggling, whatever. Juggling thing, juggling, prestidigitation juggling.
Okay.
This is the part where I walk over behind her. Just behind him.
Prestidigitation, you're able to basically summon one thing,
Uh-huh.
and then at the end of your turn, so you're doing like one ball, just kind of tossing it, being casual.
Yeah.
Different things.
Turns
Okay.
into different things. Oh, God, it's a snake. And then things like that.
Your attention definitely gets drawn towards you. It's just like, what the hell are you doing? As you hear various footfalls, various things being pushed over, opened up downstairs, and you hear several commands underneath the deck.
Can I make another roll to get it off my
We'll
face?
get to you in just a moment.
And then after I'm
Close
done
enough to help her out?
with that, I'll start break into a limerick song or
Like
something.
maybe
As you see another
Slide of
plank
hand.
being propped up, a walking plank.
require
towards the top of the ship,
assistance.
As you see that ornate, dark-robed, half-wit
Please.
individual with his chest open to just present himself. As he starts walking up with his thick tome with the brass eye on his book and on his chest. He starts walking up with a very...
What race is this?
I'll
one?
try and help
What race?
her.
Human.
Yeah. And as he gets closer and closer, his face actually becomes less blurred.
He sees the regular people before he sees us, right?
He's seeing everyone right now. He's currently looking at the big metal robot.
Who's standing in the middle of the
I'll
whole
try. I'll
lineup.
help. While he's looking at him.
Okay.
Am I
As he
close
starts
enough
getting
to help
onto
her
the ship, yeah, you can definitely help her out. What would you like to do as you see? I mean, so Hazel, Derick
You grab her.
shuffles over as he's seeing this commotion happen.
You grab her, I grab the staff.
As you
Okay.
So
They're grabbing your sack.
yeah, make a strength check.
Your
As
facial sack.
you
Facial
undo.
sack.
First of all, are you trying to be stealthy?
yes.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Apparently,
I'm
I
asking him.
He did whisper to me, so yeah.
Okay,
I
make a
told
stealth
him to
check
help
first.
her.
You two, Derick.
Oh,
since
I'm
you're
so
helping.
stealthy. That's a 5.
Okay. You're super stealthy.
I got it!
16. So I'm trying to block the view of
Straight check.
what's going on.
It's hard. Okay. So as you're trying to block the view and just being a
Right.
body in between
Right.
of his direct line of sight.
Well, he's also another body, so there's multiple bodies now.
Yeah. But,
Well,
So this helps, right?
He's getting
we have
off.
a robot clown and an acrobat.
And Metal Man behind you all.
And a blue elf over on
so
the side.
as
Pay
so
no
Hazel,
attention to the blue
as
elf
the
behind the
rope is
middleman.
starting to, wrap around your face more and start to go towards your neck as it starts to tighten.
Is there
and-
any sort of roll I can make?
This is all happening at once, kind of deal, and it's just a fast repetition thing. Barian throws open the cape as Derick kind of steps in front and he's like, ah, crap, and grabs the satchel. And what was your strength check?
10.
10, and pulls you along with it as you're throwing.
Wait, I was
As
holding
you-
on to her to keep her.
Oh, make a
Yeah,
strength check.
yeah, he's holding her and I was holding back.
So either both of you roll a strength check or one with advantage.
You roll advantage.
Roll at advantage.
Okay.
Wait, seriously? Who has the higher strength?
Ooh! 27.
Wow.
27.
You're not even gonna roll a second time.
That's a strength
No,
check.
that was the
That
second
was
one.
Oh, okay.
That was a strength check?
Yeah, I rolled natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Jeez.
man's
Derek,
got
as you
some
just
strength.
take both hands on their shoulders and hold
My
it
foot
at
on
the
your
same time,
stomach.
you feel the silk rope that has small little razors imbued into the silk
Fucking hate
rope.
that guy.
And just pulls with all his might and just hears a tearing snapping sound. And you just hold it up in place as the ropes go from almost like a magnetic pull to one charge and then suddenly go slack as it reverses into a nice tight knot.
Okay.
Barry, you turn around,
Okay.
and that long-faced, sunken-cheeked individual with the ornate armor, with the captain of the guard, a female dwarf next to him, is staring directly at you.
She was showing me what a hickey was.
You see, when a mommy turtle
Derek.
and a daddy
Derek.
turtle.
I'm gonna need you to sleight of hand that right now.
Okay. I'm sliding
At disadvantage,
the bag away
Yeah.
from him. All right. Can I do a sleight of hand to get
at
the bag out?
disadvantage of just what's going on in the positioning.
Yes. Okay. It's a disadvantage. Got it.
Okay, while they're doing that, I immediately break in, because I'm right there doing my goofy stuff. Yes! I immediately break into a song about hickeys.
Performance check.
Oh, come on. We already got a good roll here.
Nope, I failed.
Slide at 26.
Okay. At
So
disadvantage.
that's
At
Yes, it was a
disadvantage.
nat 20 and an 18.
Ooh.
7.
I know this.
Excuse me. They were distracted by his terrible performance.
Yes. At a -5, it was a 7.
So you said 28? You said 28?
26.
26.
Wow.
Okay.
With a -5, it was a
Well, I am
7.
being goofy.
So, beginning your voice cracking because you're a little like shit.
No, I'm just being goofy, that's
Yeah,
all.
you're just being goofy, and you begin to sing about a hickey song that is just one of the. It's not a good song. You begin to sing, and you just keep going. It's like an avalanche kind of deal. It just keeps getting worse. It perpetually just like. And the crew just stops what they're doing and just slowly turn their head.
That means
towards
everyone's looking at me.
Other rhythm and timing.
Rhythm and timing!
Varian?
Well, that's what comes
You
after a
feel-
hickey.
You feel a tug on the side that they're holding behind you.
Oh, from where I put it?
Yeah. The sack's not there.
You should sing, brother. You're better at it.
Okay.
What, the 26 even?
Not much. Wait. No, that's a 14. I had that as much.
Hickey song. I don't know what a hickey is.
You get hickeys on your face from fish and ropes.
Even Pippin laughed at that. Even Pippin laughed at that. You should have heard him.
Continuing this song,
Oh my god.
as you guys start to go into a duet now of this hippie song from a rope
I'm
sack.
so glad I have no facial features
Oh,
to
can I
express my
try
emotions.
to join his rhythm?
Yes, of course.
Derek just raises his
no, you don't need
eyebrow.
to roll again.
We know it's bad.
Yeah, as you guys continue for maybe 10 seconds, he just puts his hand up. It whispers ever so faintly into the captain of the guard next to him. and starts looking over the entire deck and looking at the lady off to the side. As he just flips open his book, his thick tome with the various silk bookmarks infused with gold, starts pacing through the pages, looking at you. And closes it.
Yes, I have a backpack. If you can put it in the backpack.
There's a small pace in front of you, studying each face. And now that you guys are a little closer to him, his left side is scarred from some sort of tearing, slashing that from the middle of the face and down. His eyes still function just fine, but it looks like it had some minor damage to it. And you notice that there's a slight vibration around his hood that almost like goes inwards. And when he looks away, it kind of covers his face at the same time. But when he looks back, it reforms, and you have no problem seeing his face. It's a little off-putting with his very ornate armor clothing that he has. Derick, Davros, Sonny, go on and roll a history check. Since your upbringing would know this kind of thing. 8, yeah. It's land people.
I'm too busy going.
Yeah.
Would I not have studied it?
You would. Go ahead.
11.
Would this be more of an Arcana?
No.
Oh, okay.
This
good.
is a history.
Thank goodness.
Come on.
Arcana.
16.
16.
I went to this.
Hazel, I would say enough that this would be a tempered eye. Basically an inquisitor of the kingdom and a personal investigator of the king.
Ooh, great.
As your eyes
Holy
where
crap!
Yeah,
We
as
don't
your
know
eyes
this though. We
go
don't know
over to
this
where
though.
Gaw is, and you still see Gaw, bone white, and just standing perfectly
If
straight.
he had a lower
Very
jaw,
pale green.
if he had a lower jaw, he'd be like,
So he's an inquisitor.
Do you know what that is?
oh.
I rolled one less.
As he begins to speak in his pale expression, and you notice that he has a paper-thin smile that ever so creeps over from his.
The king of the Persian Empire. Oh no.
And
You
he
don't know this?
Oh, my
And he
God.
begins to speak.
We don't know this.
You don't know this. You're in sweet bliss right now.
What's new?
Attention, everyone.
Oh god.
We will begin the questioning process to get to the root of what transpired here, and we do apologize for the inconvenience of the matter. I assure you, as he looks all of you, that I myself will personally help with this process to make it as quick as and fast and just. But please allow my compatriots, as he motions towards the guards that have been coming up onto the deck, to assist you to your proper quarters.
Oh, great.
As you hear various clanging of chain and links and manacles starting to be taken out from their sides.
Oh, I've been here before.
Oh, great.
And I do
If we agree to just walk,
I
we
look-
have to do the change.
I look at the
Is this
captain.
where the break these cuffs memes come in?
The captain's also mine as well.
Do we have to do the pinky chain thing?
The captain sorry, looks at you, and he's been eyeing the group the entire time, especially when the center of attention so much. He looks and make an insight check actually real quick. We're looking at the captain.
Nope.
Okay. You're not quite sure if he's shaken or if he's uncertain or if he's talking to his boss. Lots going on right now as you hear clinking of closing manacles of various people behind you, as various voices of different individuals start to ask questions and wondering where they're going and where they're being taken, as this inquisitor, or better known as a tempered eye, is seeming to have a small smile, just looking at you. The captain starts to move forward and seems to step back and swallow his voice a little bit, and then go, "Sure!" And then is immediately overpowered by the female Lady Lolo, and goes, "Hey, actually, I need to double check something."
Hang on. Cutscene's buffering.
Content buffering.
I almost said the wrong name. Anyway,
Loading.
as the Lady Lolo speaks up with her, she's no longer wearing a fine summer dress, or sorry, the fine Archmage's dress. She's actually wearing a nice earthy tone Elizabethan dress now. As a couple days went by, and she speaks up. Excuse me, different voice. Tempered eye, annual dobesh. It is pleasure to meet your acquaintance, but please be assured to not hassle the ones I have hired to protect this vessel from various aberrations. As the tempered eye, now known as Amarel, looks over. Well, I do apologize, madam. Lady Lolo, I've made of yours in Empire, okay, yes. Why are you here? As the lady steps forward to the railing. The reason why I'm here is none of your business, and frankly, you asked him.
Wow, nice job, lady.
The train.
What was his
And
name?
frankly, his name is Tempered Eye Amarel, A-M-A-E-L, Dobesh, D-O-B-E-S-H.
ML Fish.
And frankly, just you asking can be considered treasonous for being your superior officer in right of Lady of Lordship and of where I stand in the ranks of you. As the Tempered Eye Amarel just takes a step forward and just nods his head with a no longer smile, but still paper thin. Right. Well, if I remember correctly, as he opens up his book, your jurisdiction does not cover these parts. So, shut off. This is my territory. If you don't mind, I'm going to continue my business, continuing whatever these freaks are. As he,
Wasn't nice.
I'm not a nice person. What is your name?
You didn't say please.
Oh God. What did you say? What did you say?
I said you didn't say please.
And I will not say please very often. But please assure you that I am trying to make sure that the Roshian Empire is ruler and supreme for the next few generations. I am here for your safety. Please, gentlemen, lock him up. As they begin to move forward and various chains are starting to go clamp onto your wrist. One,
This is
two,
not
three.
necessary.
As Lady Lolo
Jesus.
looks at Susani,
What else I should have said?
my dear, please show him your certificates, the one that I gave you recently, maybe a few weeks ago, yes, for being official hired of Lady Lolo's committee.
I have it, right? That's the one she gave me?
Little small little colorful stone.
Yeah.
Do they even have cuffs big enough to shackle them?
I'm like,
Speaking of which, as the guards go up to you, they stop and two guards come over. Remember that Star Wars scene where the Wookiee kind of deal?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
As they start to, and you hear clang, as it's like not even, there's a good 2 inches left. It's like,
These
you look at each
shackles are not
other.
necessary.
As
Yes, my lady.
And the Inquisitor comes over as the Tempered Eye.
I don't let go of it, I just show it.
He looks at the stone, looks at you dead in the eye.
I look
Cracks
at him
his-
dead in the eye.
then looks over to Lady Lola with a bit of cracked smile. Ah, very well. With his gloved hand, reaches into and pulls out a pair of metal tongs, like for a fire. Grabs the stone. Breathes on the tongs as the stone heats up to a piping hot orange amber. As he has his other hand opened up as pages, as he places it down. As you hear the hissing sound of superheated rock hit paper. As he drops the pebble, puts the prongs away, takes a liquid and pours the liquid on the stone as more. And puts the liquid away. You may leave.
I pick up my stone.
I hold my hands out to
It's
whoever
still
shackled
warm.
me. Just
And she hired all of us. And I point.
But of course. Release them, gentlemen.
As they're still trying to put the shackles on them.
Yeah,
As you
it's
said,
so
with two
pressure.
shackles on the hand.
Yeah. As the guards, the general guards that have started to shackle you release you and make way for you as the very other individuals, including the captain and the crew members, are shackled up and started to be carted off as the rest of the crew members just look at you. A couple, and the captain just looks at you, gentlemen, and just does a small gesture. Clanging the metal on metal. There's a couple other crew members do the same thing. Clang, clang.
does
It
it
started to get
does it seem to be a thing of respect or?
it more of a thing of
Screw
a,
you.
Yeah, or is
Screw
it?
you for saving us. No, it's more of a.
We're glad you're getting off our ship.
Take your bad luck with you.
Well, there's a little bit of that, but you know, they're more of thank you for saving us.
Don't let us ever see you
The
again,
arm swings
please.
in kind of deal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Please don't let us ever see you again.
yeah. And even the guy that was like a little terse, well, very terse with you, he's like. He seems to be dealing with the stress very poorly.
Right.
But as they're getting carted off, you guys are released, but shoved off the ship, essentially. As you
Straight
guys
into the
are put outside of the perimeter, as Lady Lola has not left, you have in your possessions the set.
Yes.
Yes.
I've never worn shackles before. I don't think I'm fond of it.
They did not fit me.
I don't like that kind.
I still get to wear shackles.
As you
Good
see
job.
the various
Miscast the
commands of
card.
the commanding officers, as you see card after card after card, start to load up every other patron of not noble status into these cards and are shipped off to who knows where. As they start to ride into the village outside Girdun. As you guys are waiting for your cart
And the horses.
and the horses, as you're looking at the soldiers, and they're quite literally ants to a hive right now, turning everything inside and out. And you've been waiting for about 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes,
Do I have an
as various cargo has been taken off, unloaded, opened up, thrown about. As you see a couple of soldiers actually taking off the tub with the merfolk with it into another cart. With the Tempest Eye Amel seemingly
What-
pointing at.
Do I see the one that had the merfolk woman in it?
Yeah, that's
A couple of soldiers are
that's
currently
the
carting
one.
her off right now, and seem to have taken a bigger tank, filled it up with water with the infinite water container. That they're like, oh wow, and they dump it over and have her in a bigger area. As a couple
Good. At
of
least they're treating her well.
more, well, a couple of dwarves come over with big arms, not wearing a lot of armor, come over to lift up the tank because now it's a big tank with a bunch of water and a merfolk in it. So it's a heavy thing, and put it onto a cart that is able to be drawn by 2 draft horses. As it's being taken out and is immediately covered by some sort of heavy cloth, so people can't peer in. Just, keep your business to yourself, kind of deal. So, and she's being carted off to the village outside of Girdun as well. And it doesn't seem that the soldiers that are unloading everything with the Inquisitor there seem to be giving anything out.
But they're still in the area here.
They're still in the area and they're unloading everything, but they are not giving it to the personnel. And you're just kind of waiting, and the soldiers are on the perimeter just
Are
looking at
our
you
horses okay?
look, I'm not going to be a little downy here, but come back in 3 days, you might have to get stuff back. If there's nothing on it, of course.
Who's gonna feed the
There's
horses?
rations. You gonna take care of our horses?
We'll take care of the horses,
Okay.
especially the horse over there. I've been eyeing that one. But
That horse is mine.
I understand it is yours. But please understand that everything is on investigation and everything will be turned over.
Let me talk to your boss.
My boss?
The tempered eye.
He kind of looks over to the ship. You first.
All right, I go.
Okay. You walk in by yourself.
No.
He's still on the vessel and seems to be having a conversation with Lady Lolo.
I ignore him, and I look at her, and I just wait till she addresses me.
They seem to be in a heated conversation. What languages do you know again? Do you know Draconic?
No.
Okay, then you would not understand.
Oh yes, Elvish, Draconic, Common, and Abyssal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know you had Draconic. Anyway, so yeah, you get into in the midst of the conversation as they're going back and forth, and it is quite literally rule regulation. And if you've ever seen a police officer and a fireman get into the same jurisdiction, and they're trying to measure who's takes longer, that's what's going on between Lady Lolo.
Sorry,
We love our law.
This is
we
so your territory right now.
totally respect our law and our service providers in the country. You guys
Don't get me wrong.
You guys have the hardest jobs in the freaking world.
I know, and you guys do amazing work, but at the same time, I laugh at some of the things that happen, okay?
Yeah.
It's that gray area. We always operate in that gray area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, speaking from a first responder right here.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So,
Family
don't get me wrong,
medical,
I have
okay.
great respects for those that uphold the law and save lives, like firefighter and police officers and all those emergency services. But I also make fun of it too. No, I'm an equal opportunist, make fun of it. But as
Thank you.
in the midst of one of them, White Little Lady Lola just puts her hands up and gives a small gesture towards you. Yes, my dear, how can I assist you?
They're holding our stuff.
Yes, I am trying to get your stuff and get them out of here. It'll take a little bit. Give me a few days.
A few days.
Few days, yes. We have to go through proper regulations and paperwork of the Verosian Empire, which is going to be a lot of political bullshit. And with all the respects.
Well, the good news is that when we want to leave, sorry, I'm not there, am I?
No.
No.
The good news is I have no idea what you're talking about
You're not here.
because I'm not here.
Bano snap, okay? Shut up.
So I address her back in Draconic, and yes, my lady. Is there any way we can get our rations and things off of the ship? Or off of the...
Her eyes immediately just gently go over towards the tempered eye. He's just kind of rubbing his hand right now.
You know, go to.
As I respect all law.
Well, yes. I think there is a excellent way. As he starts marching towards the main group. Follow along, come on.
Oh no.
Just him?
Well, you're the one separated.
Yeah.
And he's marching towards the main group as you guys see this ornate individual that's walking towards you with his dark robes and from a distance now, his face is actually hazed, where you don't see a lot of features from a distance, with his hood up. That actually has small symbols, not arcane symbols, but like almost symbolic gesturing of law and order and status and paperwork. Lots of paperwork. He comes over to you guys. Pleasure to meet you, whoever you are, with the two names, apparently. Please present your papers and registration so that we can release your belongings as quickly as possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Is this the stone thing, or are we?
No,
papers.
your
No
papers
papers.
and registration saying that you have business in the Verosian Empire and are also a possible citizen, white boy.
What color is he?
He's pale, but actually he is much paler. He's much more whiter than the rest of the normal humans here.
But he's like dead white.
I'm wearing makeup.
He's wearing makeup.
He's still dead white.
Thank you. And I'm assuming he gives it over and opens the book, places it in. I will have it out immediately. And he leaves.
The entire wagon?
And you handed
And
over
their
your
horses?
papers of independence. As he all goes off, talks to Lady Lolo, and you see your cart immediately start to get unloaded along with your horses.
Oh. Sure.
As you now have your carriage and your war horse and your draft horse. That is, the war horse is looking
And the other
decent.
horse? We had 3 horses.
Yes, you did have a
Riding horse.
A riding horse. My bad, that was just me.
Looks like
And the riding horse as well.
Just like that.
And they are released to you.
Same color and everything.
But we
As
don't
he
get
turns
the
around,
information
as the
back.
last one is, he says, "Good day. I have work to do."
Okay.
And he
And
turns
did we
around.
get our papers back?
Maybe.
How are we supposed to go anywhere without our papers?
Now you're getting onto it. I will see you shortly after I properly check these papers. And by the way, papers of independence. It's been a while since I've investigated those. I'm excited. As he marches off.
Alright. All our stuff is in there?
On that we can agree.
All your stuff is in there. It has been tossed and thrown about.
Anything missing?
Going through it, no.
Okay.
I hate this fucking region. I hate this fucking.
So he
Like,
left
if
her
the lady
alone?
happens.
No, he's going back. And the Inquisitor, the Temper Die seems to be going off to other business.
But,
And is actually, sorry,
the girl upstairs, he left her alone?
Lady Lolo.
Yeah.
And for the time being, yes.
Good.
Okay.
If the lady ever catches our direction, I tip the hat and give a formal bow to her.
Seeing that happen, she just gives a small nod. Nothing more.
Let's get the hell out of here.
We gotta wait for our papers, right?
If we need to
No.
get done waiting for our papers,
As you see,
I've never had dwarven food.
It is excellent, my friend.
I think
see
we better find a hotel.
tempered-eyed Amaral
Roaring meat
get
on
into a
fire.
carriage.
Wait.
As the carriage starts moving away.
Didn't I get the big hunk
I
of
don't know,
dwarven meat?
Like,
in the
I
last
read
city?
the carriage,
Yeah.
don't I?
So I have.
This is a different carriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we,
Amaral got onto his own carriage and it started going away.
so I look at the guards that are left. So can we get into the city without our papers?
Looking at one of the dwarven guards with two tashly long beards that have various small bits of wooden carvings inside his beard that looks like falling leaves. He goes, I'm a man. I do apologize for the roughhousing and stuff like that, but please understand this is for your own safety. We're making sure that everything will go in a very orderly manner. You are able to get into the city, no problem.
Oh,
If anyone gives you any problem, just show them that fancy little stone. Being the worker of the Archmage Lolo, we will abide to her law.
Yeah, we're not trying to cut out or anything. We just want to get a bite
Oh,
to eat.
no. He will do the cutting.
We
As he
just
gestures towards the tempered
yeah.
eyes.
We just need a bite to
How
eat.
do
and
we
a
end
room
up
to
getting
stay
our
in.
papers back, though?
If you're lucky, you will get it back in 6 months.
I'm sorry. What's
6
how many?
months?
What?
If you are lucky, after proper due processing, investigation, and backlog checking, you will get it back in 6 months.
Bureaucrats.
God
yes,
is behind you, just curled down, sitting down, and is rocking back and
You
forth.
had to go
Well, he didn't give up
fucking
his
volcano.
documents.
He did.
Oh. I look at God. We're good?
It's a lot of work.
Are we fucking him?
No.
No.
Okay.
I think it was fuck us.
I must say that I do believe that
No,
we
he
are
looked
actually...
at you guys.
We're fucked.
Ah.
Yep.
My papers are legitimate.
Well, I still have my original.
Yeah, I still have my original.
This is the equivalent of the airline taking your passports.
Oh, so we're just stuck in the dwarven area.
For 6 months.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I look up at Lady.
Yeah.
Ooh, I walk back up.
We're not exactly on a time
He
limit.
gets in front of you. With all due
I
respect,
can only get so
this is
frustrated. I
now a
literally
southern
just
line you
walked on
cannot
shore in
pass.
this country.
If you have a message, I will deliver it to her and bring it back to you.
The dwarves are
Would you
doing
let the
it.
lady know?
Major cunt bag is doing it.
Would you let the lady know
This is new.
that her humble servant is going to get some food.
I will make sure she gets the message as soon as I'm relieved from this duty.
That we appreciate her patronage.
Very well. I will make sure that she gets that very quick to me.
And the stone does good stuff?
Yes, that is the symbol of the Archmage, of her tower.
Oh, I like. Put it like down deeper.
Just, we're not supposed to say this, but I will tell you just for the sake of simplicity, so that you're not confusing and just flashing it in everyone's faces. Most legal places that are working under the Archmage, each Archmage has a various symbol of some sort. It's all unique to a very specific person of the 6 Archmages of our empire. And if you have one, it's basically a multipass. And it says that you are a direct servant of one of the Archmages and doing work that is most likely under supervision and cannot speak.
Otherwise,
I can't tell you what I'm doing.
to get
so
papers to go anywhere.
I'm not asking. If you told me, honestly, you would kill me.
Yes. And I just wipe off the makeup and go, yes.
I'm on your side, my friend.
Good. Where's a good place to get food?
You want to? Well, if you want
As
to,
I'm continuing to wipe off the
if you want a quick place in town, that
We're good.
We're not in a rush, apparently.
very well. And I do apologize again. I know he's a righteous cunt.
He's a righteous guy?
He's a righteous cunt.
I
Yes.
don't think he's very righteous.
Well, in his eyes, he feels like it.
Yeah, but I agree with the cunt part.
Yeah.
I like him.
But he
what is
is.
your name?
Indeed.
You're gonna write that down, right?
On this we can agree.
He admitted he was a bad man.
Yeah. And he didn't tell my brother please. He's actually kind of lucky he walked away.
That was very rude.
The one document. Oh my god. One document. that is
Just
not-
Bob the guard's fine.
Galmok.
Galmok. You want to keep track of that?
Galmok.
And what's the name of the place you're sending me to?
Yeah, it's
Good luck and okay.
the Olde Frog.
The what?
The Olde Frog.
You got that?
I don't.
Oldie Frog?
Olde.
Olde.
Yeah, they put
Olde
an
Frog.
E at the end because of, I don't know language.
Olde Frog.
Yeah, it's the ye, THE, Olde, OLDE, Frog, FROGE.
The old frog.
It's deep into the Galdon territory.
Frog. Okay. So he gets
I
us-
can't believe we just all wrote that down and realized it's just ye old frog.
The old frog. Yeah, it's okay.
Accents, they're great.
Oh,
I mean, I had to spell it all out. And I'm like, really?
As we start to walk away, is it just the old frog? Felt very
No, it didn't have the bad word in it.
language.
It's in the.
Fucking really?
Populating.
And just, by the way,
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
just so that you don't get lost, it's there's 3 territories of Girdun.
What?
There's
Three
three
territories
of Galdun.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we just take the main street, hang a left, hang a right? What?
No, because this one is more 3-dimensional, so it's a little different.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
But this is the dwarf town, dwarf city.
I like it.
You know what I love about dwarves?
What?
Everything.
I do. I like my women too.
I like a good dwarven woman. You grab her beard. And... Anyway.
All right. So when a mommy turtle and a
See,
dapper.
He's nothing. I thought that was a joke. Okay. Yeah.
You've never been with a dwarven woman?
They don't swim.
90%. No, 90.
The nice part about a
So
dwarven
how do we
woman
get
is
to
ocean,
the old
they just
frog?
sink right
So
down.
he gives a general description in the break
Which
it
is why I
down.
have not done
You would
dwarf
have to go to the through the main area. You would have to go. You would have to go into the deeper part of the city and find one of the major elevators to go down several hundred feet to the one of the more that used
The
to be a
lower
noble area, but ever since the Great Collapse, when the gods left, because the whole place went shaky, and mountains love that.
Great. I love going down several hundred feet and hearing the word collapse and
So do I! I love it myself.
No, I still
When are
PTSD.
they going to
from
let the
Derick.
captain and the crew go?
having some. Leftover anxiety.
Hopefully, since the captain, he's the captain, so he has less paperwork to go through, but he himself has a lot of paperwork to go through. So he will be released hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, but his paperwork duties will keep him for another month at least.
Why do people even report?
This
crap on
ship is
For-
dry docked.
Yeah.
world? So if we ever
But-
need to steal a ship, we know.
They can
This
make
entire
repairs.
situation that happened has really put a thorn into the business of the red sail community, and I assure you they're going to be searching high and low on the who took care of this. And honestly, I don't want anything to do with this. You speaking to me this long is not making me look good.
Well, I mean, really, we just
okay.
needed a recipe.
Thanks for the information.
recommendation.
You're quite welcome, masked man.
I'll start walking flat away.
We are free to
Yep, we're going in.
Just me, go ahead, run wild.
We-
Don't get into trouble, otherwise I have to deal with you.
The moment that we're
Go
out of
ahead,
earshot, I want to talk to everyone here. So the moment we're out of earshot,
I'll start driving the wagon.
Goodbye, strange people. Have a good trip.
Hey.
Stay away from the bear.
Hey, Derick.
Stay away from the
Bear?
Ride my horse.
You'll find out.
It's probably a bad
Okay.
pub.
It's time to get in the carriage.
Right. Well,
I asked to grab when everyone leaves.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to know where I could find a library, would you?
Library?
Yes.
What are they for?
Thank you.
That's true.
okay. At the first opportunity, now, I sense that we're not scarce. Well,
You have gotten away from the soldiers and now
Okay.
you're starting to make yourself. The landing area, now that you've gotten outside, is actually in a bit of the forest territory, sparse forest, as you are next to a volcanic area and not a lot of sunlight gets in. But you see the various pine trees that are still clinging to life on the side of the volcanic nature of this mountain. And you're about a good 100 feet away from the town outside, and you're a good 200-300 feet away from the entrance of the dwarven.
okay, so we don't have too many people in the area, right?
There's
it in my
people going
backpack,
back and
by the way,
forth,
right?
but there's definitely areas to be sparse enough so that.
Okay, so when I get the first opportunity where there's no people in the general area, I'm going to do a sleight of hand to get the bag back into her backpack.
Make a sleight of hand check to see if she noticed.
At disadvantage or advantage?
No, just straight up.
Advantage, right?
That wasn't one of his choices.
I don't notice.
23.
23.
Oh.
So Derick, as you get onto the wagon and just kind of relax there, taking a breath, as you see Gaul just kind of rocking back and forth, as he starts throwing papers.
Don't throw away your
What are you
papers.
doing, God?
He shows it, and it shows the layout of his forgery documents.
Oh no!
What is he doing?
Oh my
I think
god!
He's in his version of put everything in the shredder.
Yeah, and he's tearing it up, and as he tosses it, and it's actually, it burns in the air as he's been wiping some sort of ink onto them and then throwing it into the air as he's rocking.
Something tells me, yeah, we won't be able to use those papers anymore.
Well, we're still good.
Right. That's true.
All right. So
So put down for the stone the
Yeah.
Archmage Lolo's blessing.
It appears we are together for the time being.
Archmage
That-
Lolo?
Archmage
Indefinitely.
Lolo.
Archmage
Dwarves
Lady
are
Lolo
nice.
is her name.
Sophie of the dwarves seem nice
Yes,
Well,
they're
God, we
very
like
nice
the
people.
dwarves.
for once.
yeah. All right. Let's stop.
They kind of make up for the last game.
Pull off the road.
And you get it into her bag, no problem. She
You
doesn't
had
even-
something to
I'm
say.
busy driving the cart.
Yeah, passive perception. Sorry.
Forgive me all for I'm not always the brightest of everyone here,
Well, you're definitely the best dealer.
but well, thank you for that.
And that
I-
takes skill.
Yes, but the one thing that I am not so observant on is the happenings around me. I usually see my goal, and that is all. But
Would you like a shadow puppet thing of everything that's happened?
I've seen your shadow puppets, and they scare me.
They're too accurate.
Yes, indeed.
They're too good.
Okay, so what did you need?
Especially a part with the mommy turtle and daddy turtle. It's just
No.
Oh, it's the beholder.
so.
A bit of a
no.
detail on the side. Hazel, you saw this, and Davos, you would see this because you would take interest into the beholder. And you did see a black sludge starting to seep out of its mouth. This was while everything was happening.
Yeah, I figured.
The undead beholder.
Undead beholder that was still on the deck.
Do I know anything
Oh, is it
about
still
that?
on the deck? Still?
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't clean it
Yeah,
up.
it was just
Yeah.
left on the deck. It's evidence.
It's a crime scene.
Okay,
It
so
We
smelled.
couldn't toss everything overboard.
You've covered that you are not the most observant. What is the question that you have?
Well, so I know that we've got a problem with all our paperwork, for it has now been basically taken by the authorities, and we are free to go, but we cannot travel. Now, my thing is, what we are here for you, Derick.
Mm-hmm.
But my concern is what is all these other things going on with the drow and the lady Lolo, and how does this all connect? I'm not able to. There's something going on bigger than what we are seeing, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I do not know what it is, and I'm asking you if you have any ideas, because there's something bigger than what we have seen as a single person. You, Davros, you saw things down below decks that I did not see, and I'm uncertain that there's
but the things I
something
saw
going
before
on bigger
were
than what
also-
we've seen so far, and all the pieces like a puzzle that of the great mysteries of life, when a mommy turtle and a daddy turtle.
And you hear as a couple of bits of parchment are being ripped up by Gal.
Is my dad around daddy, bro?
He throws it in
Look,
the air.
Mac, there are a million things going on that we don't know about. However, we need to trudge through, finish his thing, and help your brother relax. Because we got this.
You hear a small micro explosion.
I pat Gaw on the shell and say, "We've got this."
Yes.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we've got this.
You should roll persuasion.
Roll persuasion, yeah. He's just kind of sitting there defeated.
Okay,
As
here
you
we
can see
go.
the various documents and just seeing ash everywhere of the various blueprints of how to forge
Persuasion.
documents in this country.
Bravo!
is now
Here we go.
Destroyed.
Persuasion, because I've got a great bonus.
Yay.
Yay.
What'd you roll?
You broke your brother.
4.
Minus.
How would you like to
Straight
comfort
up.
your brother?
Alright, you know what, guys?
We've got
No, stop.
we've got this.
No, stop.
You've
Yes,
got
just
you've got this.
Just stop.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Smacks you on the head.
God.
I think you were doing
You
great.
got this, don't worry.
Thank you, Hazel. I know I'm doing
Oh,
good.
God, sorry. God, we got this with a 24. We'll
You say the whole thing?
We'll figure this.
We got this with the
we got this with the 24. No, we got this. We'll get this figured out. This guy, as soon as we get to her area, we're all good.
Gaw? What he said.
You're not helping.
He just gives a very long stare that only a quiet man without a mouth can do. He looks back.
We'll make it right. Hey, you know
You had a
what?
question too, right?
Think of the bright side. When was the last time, if ever, you had instruments like you have now?
He pulls out the mandolin. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait. Ding, 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 ding. Ding ding.
No. We are not doing those on the side of the road. Let's go to the fucking Olde Frog.
As you hear a hillbilly song start to be playing.
So do you seem a little bit
Davos
better
is
now?
sitting in the front with the horses. Just
Are we there yet? Are we there? Fucking there?
By the way, thank you for getting the bag off my face.
You're welcome. Why was it eating you?
That's a great question. You remember big scary guard?
Death Fist.
Yeah, that guy. He came and handed me the bag and said that Lady Lolo wanted me to guard it with my life and that the payment was inside. And I asked what it was, and he walked away. So I went to look at what it was, and it ate me.
So he's mean too.
Yes.
No. He's a dick.
It sounds to me like there's no payment in the bag.
Instead of an Ash Phoenix, we shall refer to him as Ass Phoenix from now on.
Hey. Don't bring the Phoenix into this.
Okay, just Ass.
It does sound like an ass.
Sparks, you have a question.
Would you like assistance looking inside the bag? I understand you had an issue before.
Sure.
Maybe not the on the side of the road.
Yeah, how about
Yeah.
further from?
Yeah, further away from things, but
We're
later,
continue
yes.
on the road toward the toward.
Well, we don't
toward
want to
the
do that
border.
in the city. We could make camp out here.
Well,
We
Derick,
have
Derick, do you,
tent.
Well,
Derick,
technically we are in the city, but we're just not.
Right now, you're in between
The wall.
a big village and a mountain entrance.
Why don't we go
Then
to
you
the big
see
village?
various pathways. You see, as far as you can tell, 3 pathways. Stone, heavy brick pathways of a combination of lava rocks and
Dwarven beer
and,
30.
and glass,
That's late enough in the
lava glass. Where can I go?
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Thank you.
Obsidian.
Brain breaking, failing.
We have made a decision. We are not going to the big place. We're going to the town first.
You're going to the town
the
first?
big village.
The village.
Oh yeah, you can go to the village. It's not even. It's like a 10-minute journey.
Okay.
Yeah. Going to the village, following actually the trail of cars that are going from the vessel to the village. It's a very small village, but it's built heavily built.
Wait, do you mean like small village or like?
Numbers.
Numbers wise, I mean.
Okay.
For the amount of people that are moving back and forth and looking around as you get closer and closer to the village, as you get to the city square, just like, oh, we're at the city square. As you see the various heavy, full tree trunk, like support beams for the walls, made out of brick and stone and heavy wood. Stone buildings that go maybe 2-story tall that are built almost like small forts. As you see a lot of dwarves. As you get to the city square, as you see various temporary booths that are built around in the circle, you notice that looking around that this is more of a farming village. As you look off to the distance and you see a lot of farmland, they're just spotting the region in front of the village.
Is there
So no inn?
tavern in?
Oh no, there's a tavern in. You got the.
Oh, we have to wait
Wait,
till
the
Davis
captain
comes.
didn't give us our money.
The
either,
first thing that
so-
you find is actually
Oh, we're not broke. We still have some money.
the hard corn.
Okay.
What?
Just, we're going to the tavern. Don't worry about the name. I have a feeling they make.
I prefer soft corn myself. But
Yeah.
And you notice the sign of a dwarven with a big beard chewing on a corn and his teeth falling out.
You don't want to go to the hardcore?
Not really.
I feel like the hard corn is something more euphemistic.
Is there a stable here?
There is a stable, as there's
Did
a
we-
lot of stable people going in and out.
Did we end up getting any of our money from the captain?
No.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, we still have some money. It's
Yeah,
not
we still have
broke,
money. I mean,
but-
it's not like we're broke. Okay, so go to the stable, drop off our stuff, take your important items.
When we get to the tavern, I'm going to talk in dwarven to several of the people.
Okay. So
asking
getting
what would
getting
be-
stables up, getting the horses posted and everything, pulling off to the side, off to the road. Excuse me. You notice that there's a barn house nearby, next to the inn. because there's enough space, and there's very spacious in this village. And you notice there's a couple other other carts that are pulling in, putting the carts off to the side as they're putting their horses inside, as you see various helpers taking care of that. And you hear soft music being played, but heavy notes from harsher equipment on the inside, as you hear a hurdy-gurdy actually being played on the inside.
From God, right? Or
No, not from God, actually.
Wow.
Even God just turned to him and was like,
Feeling better yet? Alright.
Let's
So,
get a drink.
yeah, that's, well,
God just nods and points.
I look around as we're walking in. Is there a board?
Walking in, it's a same thing with the heavy, sturdy stone building that it is. Have you ever been to an Alaskan lodge before?
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent like that, as you see half and full tree trunks being built on supporting this area, but instead of logs in between, there's heavy bits of stone that are interlocking, making basic dwarven symbols and structures and dwarven statues holding up the actual house. As you get inside, you see a big fireplace using the side beams, actually having two dwarven individuals hold up the entire house. It makes it look like that. As you see a big roaring fire with a roasted pig at the center of it. As you see various people lining up and getting the food.
Is it? Oh, so it's like it's not a big fireplace on the side. It's a fire like in the middle of the room, kind of thing.
No, it's on the side of the
It's on
room.
the side, but it's huge.
But
Yeah,
it's big enough that they have a spit roasted.
Yeah, to give
want
you
that.
a size dimension, it's like 15 feet wide and 10 feet tall. That's how big the fireplace
That's
is.
a big fucking fire.
It's enough to roast me.
Yeah,
By
Roast
10.
sparks in that foot.
Wow, that's huge.
yeah. It's a huge ass fireplace, and they only have one spit, and it looks like there could be like 6 spits that line the entire thing, depending on how many people and what kind of celebration they're having.
They must make great chucaturi here.
What?
Sliced meat.
How much is it? How big are your rooms?
Talking to one of the individuals behind the bar, you find a very happy dwarf that has a nice big rotund belly that has an open chest as the hair is just outward. As you see, his hair is just hanging loose and goosey, and his his beard and his hair is in a nice ponytail. And he looks at you. It's 1 gold piece a night.
How big is the room?
Oh, how big the room? Big enough to house that puppy over there.
Big enough to house all of us, or do we need 2?
We can do 4 people per room.
2.
It's a lot more expensive than the other place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it comes with a meal and a good hard drink.
That's what I'm talking about. I throw in 2 gold.
Thank you very much, sir.
Um,
And do you want us to take care of the stables and everything?
yeah. But,
Very good. And he whistles. And 2 guys come out and he starts speaking Dwarvish, if anyone knows what it is. It's you. Hey, buddy! Get the horses and put them away. Make it steady. If you're fast enough, I'll get you another extra drink tonight, yeah?
Is there anybody here that knows anything about the city? Is there anybody here who knows about the city?
We all do. What do you want?
I don't need anything. My friend here needs some things.
What do you want and who you're looking for?
I'm just gonna start making casual conversation with the dwarves.
Well, I'm right here. Are you going to make it casual or are you going to buy me a drink?
Sure.
Okay. He puts out a big, and I do mean big as your head, drinking mug. He didn't even move. He would just bring it up. It's like 2 feet tall and a foot wide.
I'm gonna need some of that.
Now that
Fill it up.
is a mug.
Yes, it is. It's my drinking mug, my happy mug.
He wants you to fill his mug.
Fill my mug, boy.
Bartender.
He is the bartender.
Oh.
I am the bartender.
Throw money at him.
Throw money at me and I'll fill it up and I'll be happy.
Ah.
I'll go find a table with the guys on it.
Easy enough. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking
There's
for
various round tables, bar areas.
I put a gold on the table
Okay. No! That's a good sip.
for the drink.
For the drink? For who? Me?
Yes,
For
because
me?
he hasn't paid anything.
Yeah. 1 gold piece? Or maybe fill it, maybe an inch for the supply line.
You put 5 gold on the table.
No, we're talking. That's still only 5 inches.
have any gold. I've got copper. I've got some copper.
Well, ain't that the dandy little thing? You know, if you really want to piss people off here, you'll tell them that.
Okay, so we're at a total 10 gold now.
Okay, that's 10 enters. We're halfway there.
You're joking, right?
Really?
I am not joking.
All right.
You
So
want to make me nice and talkable?
how much are one of
You
these
fill my
worth
tanks.
for to you?
What
A
you
wyvern scale.
He pulls it.
Whoa.
How much gold is that worth to you, buddy?
Ah. He takes the 10 gold. There we go. He takes it and fills up in here.
Can't you just take the barrel? Or just like put the barrel in like a koozie?
His mug is a barrel.
As you, hold on. I got to jiggle it.
He had to prime
take the barrel,
He had
put it
to
in
prime
like a
it.
koozie.
He had to prime a new barrel.
Even as we're getting a table, we hear.
Oh my god, please let there be like a crazy
Oh
drop.
my god.
This might take a while.
He
Enjoy
stops.
We're
yourself.
already over there.
There's a
Right.
good, like, a solid inch off of it, off the top, as you hear. Starts wiping the suds away from his beard. Ah! What do you want to know?
Would you happen to be in? Sorry. Would you happen to be?
Excuse me.
What?
You did not pay for this.
I yell from the table, we're eating.
But he's got to be involved. He's got to be part of the Brashen family. I'm sure.
Then you should have put more money. Go eat.
Brash. Food. All right. Food.
When Sparks told you to go,
Right. I'm
I feel like my favorite thing that happened in the entire game.
Did not pay for this.
You hear goo 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 goo.
I'm starting to wonder how this is
Hey, I'm running out of time, my friend. What do you want to know?
Okay, well, need to know what's a good place for trading,
For trading?
businesses.
Right outside. If you want to, well, I mean, what kind of trade do you want? We have farmers supplies outside with plenty of
I've
produce
got more
and
of these
goods.
wyvern scales that I want to
Wyvern
get a fair
scales.
price on.
Ah, you want the, what is his
for
name
God's
again? Anyway, I don't know his shop name because he's a little too
we
less
can
for
still
my
hear
brain.
this. This is super loud.
Okay.
No, we're eating. We're talking while we eat.
Oh yeah, sorry about
You
that.
guys are having a
Yeah, as he's talking, I forget the name of the bloke, but he has a weird shop in the more center part of the town.
Center part of the city?
It's in the Girdun part of the city of the city level.
City level, okay.
Yeah, she has a nice little nook and tiny that is a very ominous looking place, I'm not gonna lie. He has a fireplace made out of some sort of toothy beast, and he does a lot of weird shit with fungus. Questionable fellow, good place to buy exotic things.
Okay. I'm also having I have a message that I need to deliver to a Griff Grindstone.
Grindstone! Never heard of it.
Of course.
As he just kind of puts his hand on the table with his palm up.
I hand him another wyvern scale.
Whoa.
Stop handing out the wyvern scales like they're kids.
Takes the wyvern scale. Keeps it open.
Okay, I'll give him one more.
Maybe I don't know him. Okay. Yeah, he's in the Olde Frog. Likes to hang out there. Makes it a common occurrence to make sure he muscles the people that take care of his fun time and tries to get into his business.
We'll eat.
The
Why
Olde?
would you want that bear of a man?
The Olde farm?
Here, our horses are held here.
The Olde Frog.
That way if shit goes
He's known
bad,
as the Old
he's
Fort.
back here. instead.
Okay.
Don't sit at his table. That's all I will say.
Well, does he come to here, or where can I meet him?
The Olde Frog. That's where he goes.
The old
It's in-
frog. The same place
the
as
old-
the other
Same
guy.
fucking place.
The same place the other guy was trying to send us when we came here and said.
It's the fucking dwarven accents.
I speak Dwarven. I should be able to identify this.
It's a different dialect.
All right.
Yeah, no. Derick learned Dwarven like out of a book. It's all proper. This is fucking this is like slang Dwarven. This is Derek's over there just like, yes, of course.
So,
and he's like, well,
we're in the
yeah,
right
I'll go
place.
over to this guy over here. It's like, oh god, I thought I spoke Dwarven.
It's like going up in you're in
the farm
you're in
district.
Scotland.
This is hick Dwarven.
You're on the border of Scotland and England,
Right.
or you're
What
above
places-
Inverness.
Okay.
You know, the two are completely
What places
different.
are known for their weaponsmithing and armory?
Girdun.
Okay.
They're dwarves.
Yes.
It's a city that forged from the very pits of the heat of the volcano. It is what we are known for. This is a forged city, my
Right.
friend.
Do you have any
Everyone and their
recommendations
mother
of
knows
your
how to
business?
forge.
Right. But do you have any recommendations for somebody who's excellent?
Look, I work in the pub in the
not talk
farmer
about
district.
that.
Do you honestly think I would be buying such pricey things?
You know these things. I'm just asking you for
Well, if
where
you say I
they're
know
located
these
at.
things, well, thank you very much. As he takes up another Google.
Hey, Derick.
I think I know everything now!
Why don't we get a bite to
Okay.
eat and head up to the frog place?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Thank
you for your time.
The
Enjoy
old
your
farm
time.
had better food.
Best place in the business. However,
Where's the
not,
frog?
I repeat, do not go anywhere inside that district. It's a little shady.
Which just
The miners love it there. Honestly, a lot of the soldiers like to go there too, and it's a good place to drink. It's a good place to drink. I need to go there more often.
Okay.
I go back
Did
to
you-
the counter again.
Did you go where?
I'm up to the counter. Because I actually paid.
As he looks up, yes, my friend.
I looked down.
No, you paid part of it. I paid most of it.
Keep your head low. You might actually hit the ceiling.
I've been crouching down like this the whole time.
No, actually, you can stand freely in here.
Really?
Yeah, these things are absurdly tall.
Dwarves, they like to build big.
Yeah,
And the dwarves, which is funny.
That's right.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about Warforged, would you?
Go. I think I do now.
Anyone who might know anything about Warforged?
Your mama?
Okay. Let's
Five
try not to
words.
piss off the giant metal man. Pig was great. Thank you. Let's go to the frog place. Come on, Sparks.
I'm already
I
head
just start-
around on my ass.
I just
used to
slowly
be your
march out.
mama joke. That is poor taste, I tell you.
So we walk to the city
I
to
didn't
go to
drink
the
enough
frog
of this
place.
shit.
do we
I'm
know
not
where this
carrying
place is
all
at?
of
Or we
Yeah,
just
she
go
has
to-
instructions.
Scales. I just
We've got
have
directions from the
5
first
pounds
one.
of
Hazel,
dwarven
you
scale
have
of mine,
instructions
so
on
I
how to
wasn't
get to
giving away the party
frog.
Dwarves irritate me.
You
How many do I have left? I had 5 pounds, and I gave out 3.
5 pounds. Each
nice.
scale is roughly about this big
Right.
on it. So 5 pounds would be about, I would say 15 of them, 15, 16 of them.
Okay, so I just gave out 3, so got
Yeah.
about 14 left,
Yeah.
roughly. Okay.
Alrighty then.
Very good.
Are dwarves normally this irritating?
Only when they get worse, inebriated.
Only the givers.
That was mild. Do you like to drink? It might help you.
he used to work at a
that's right.
tavern.
That's silly question.
He has no mouth.
Yes. Of course. Right.
Neither does Flan, but he still drinks.
How do you
wines.
talk with no mouth?
It's like a disembodied voice almost.
God cannot talk. He has no mouth.
No, it is not a disembodied voice.
He has a
It
mouth.
kinda
comes,
emanates
it
from here.
emanates from where the mouth would
It's
be.
kind of disembodied.
You do have
Like a speaker.
holes, like a grate, underneath your faceplate.
It's just a little muffled.
It's a little speaker.
Kind of.
You sound like Burn.
Should I start talking like this then?
Yes.
No. Okay, so how
He's gonna do it
can we
now.
get there?
No.
Please don't.
Oh, great God in the sky! Can we make our way to the E11 Frog unmolested, or
Or molested.
I'd
It's a
rather.
dwarf town. No, yeah, you're fine. So,
So I'm
Did-
looking up how to say the old frog in Spanish.
I swear to fucking God, Levon.
No, Davros has given up on figuring out these dwarven accents. He's now just calling it La Vieja Rama. Let's just go to La Vieja Rama.
I started this.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
It's your fault when you're fucking.
We're gonna end it.
So,
The old frog's
having
next to the young
some
amphibian.
so are you just getting up right away and leaving? Yeah, you have a room.
Let's just say it's awkward and fuck it.
Yeah, you checked in your horses. You got some food.
We got our
And
room.
it's some tasty pig.
Tasty
How
pig.
far is it to walk?
You don't know. He gave the basic directions, but he didn't
Wait.
like giving like
Lift 'em
how
up.
much feet. You don't know.
Well, because it was back in the city, right?
Yeah, and he told you to find basically landmarks.
Well, we saw how far the city was. Like, how far is it to get to the
The
city?
city, the front gate of the city that's inside the actual volcano in the mountain that has been carved out of the mountain is 300 feet away, or 500 feet away from the village.
Okay.
So it's-
Roughly. So to walk over there is not a great distance, but it's a little bit. And then inside, you're not quite sure because you've never been to Girdun,
Yeah.
but you have studied, so make a history check to see if you know anything about the city.
Nope. You know, Jack.
Ouch.
She doesn't even know if it's
In the
a dwarf
history
city.
books, you saw dwarves. I'm never going
Yeah, this
to.
place is just full of bathroom.
Was that a
Volcano there,
one?
I'm not giving her
Was that a one?
Anybody else know anything about dwarves?
Okay, so I will tell you this: you saw Girdun, and then the name, its actual name, which is with a 11-point font. It has like 16 words in it.
See, and the funny thing is that I took Gnomish and Halfling, but not Dwarvish.
Yeah, and you just went nope, and you just flipped the chapter.
Not to date.
Yeah.
I don't think I would really know much about this place either.
No.
Is there a
Is it? Well, it's,
From your upbringing and how you've been
it's,
trained,
it's not nearby the
roll a
ocean that I'm in.
disadvantage. You roll a disadvantage. It is a major landmark.
Because it is a big city.
It is a big city.
Disadvantage. History?
Yeah, at disadvantage.
8.
Okay, yes.
Disadvantage.
Unfortunately, no.
What I've heard?
Okay, we don't need
no.
no.
Probably.
No,
We just need to
unfortunately
find the
not.
frog.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So we try to find the frog.
Okay.
Follow the directions.
Yeah, you follow the directions, gain your stuff, your traveling equipment for your own personnel. You start heading on the road 500 feet to the main area, which is the chiseled out fort front that has two heavy dwarven guards standing twice the height of the castles that have been chiseled out of the mountainside, dwarfing everything inside. That are several hundred feet tall.
I think someone's compensating.
This is dwarven architecture, man. As you
Makes
get
sense.
closer and closer, seeing the various branching streets made out of obsidian and lava rock. Gentlemen, made out of roads that are made out of obsidian and lava rock. Now getting closer and closer as the sun's starting to set now, as it's been several hours after you got off the ship and everything, and you did arrive halfway through the day. So it's starting to hit sunset in the region that you're in.
Time to go to tavern.
As the sun hits the ash and smoke, bathing everything in a royal orange amber color. Strange beauty to it. As you get closer and closer, seeing the main area, the main entrance into the city, still massive, but nothing compared to the actual fort and design. As you get closer and closer, as it gets bathed more in this orange firelight, you see two smaller, nothing comparison to the two guards on the outside that have been chiseled out, but still equally massive, like 100, it would be about 40 to 50 feet tall, carved out remnants of heavy dwarven guard, royal, holding in ornate armor, a big heavy tower shield that acts as the actual door itself that has been pulled off to the side, that is bathed and detailed in molten lava that is still dripping off of it and going down to the feet. As you see its fiery beard that's coming out of its, well, hidden very well, but coming out of its nostrils and ears to actually make a fiery lava beard as it goes down its forefront onto its shield and creating this massive, impressive 60-foot door that opens up with their tower shields. Going in as you hear the various echoing of dwarven and other individuals yelling out commands and having things go through as you see more people going towards the city now that the day has pretty much starting to go to the wind down, as people are starting to go into the Girdun, city of Girdun, as you go deep into this entryway that is a good 50-foot thick wall. as you go section after section, as you see other similar, very similar to the front entrance, other shielded, guarded dwarven that would be able to do a section off more of the doors that have gated areas and hidden kill holes and all that. Very, very well protected and slightly overcompensating.
It must be quite warm in here.
Going deeper into the cavern, as you see the lava tubes that are spilling down and creating natural light from the superheated material. It's warm, but not as warm as you might have thought. Going deeper, and it's the same thing. And for those that have modern intelligence would know that if you go into underground volcanic area, you would not survive in normal conditions because you're trying to live in a lava tube. That's not going to work. So there's some sort of compensation in order to make it livable, and at the same time make it awe-inspiring. As you finally hit the main chamber, where you pass the forefront entrance, and it opens up dramatically as you see the very layers that go up all the way to the ceiling, hundreds of feet up, that before it hits the ceiling, with various different structures that spiral upward as various different houses, stores, and perches, and other buildings that are spiraling up to the ceiling go up and scroll down all the way down to the center as you see a giant open area of layers upon layers of heavy dwarven architecture that have been infused with rolling magma that are going down parts of its architecture and statues that are adding texture to the entire thing. As you see the sprawling city moving about, echoing chambers of people's voices going up into the air, bouncing off the closed off section of the room, with spottings of fluorescent flora and plants and moss, spotting buildings every here and now with various multitude of vibrant colors of purple, blues, yellows, along with the orange of the lava. This is Girdun. As you look around and follow the chains, follow the directions, you end up finding yourself at a quite literally house-sized elevator made of thick, heavy stone slabs that are held aloft by giant dark dwarven metal chains that sprawl up towards the ceiling. As you see people getting onto the platform itself, there's guards making sure that people don't stand in the section where there's going to be a hole as people are getting loaded on.
Ha! Dwarves don't believe in railings.
No, they don't.
Is that alright?
But there is a platform onto the actual platform. There is a section to get onto the platform.
So we get onto it.
Okay. You wait a few minutes, and then suddenly you hear a couple of commandments as you hear a couple of bells, dong, 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 as the platforms are risen up. And
You can do it, Hazel.
yeah, as you the whole platform
Derek
it
just
starts
looks
to
like
lower
going
down from
down.
the chains, and you hear
Going up. Down,
as you
up.
see the various walls that are lining this area of layers upon layers of different buildings, living spaces, storefronts, infused with various dwarven statues. As you go lower and lower, you see what you can guess is a noble district. As you see overly gaudy spirals spinning up that are open and spacious in design, that actually have living spaces on each floor that are open entirely to show strange living areas of higher living, to basically almost one up each other's as you go lower, yeah. But quite literally, it's think of a spiraling a mansion that goes up to the ceiling, and then you carve a little bit out and put areas that you can see into that just make it extravagant and show off what you have. As you see several of these on the next level down, as you see the noble district, as you hear a couple before the railing and section off warden area, as because quite literally went from top to down, and it's empty space as you could just see everything inside, or as far as you can see. And then there's actual section off areas with guards and stuff like that of the noble district and having powerful clearance to get inside. As you go off to the next section below, a couple more 100 feet, as you are replaced from various people of shouting, giving orders, and hustle and bustle of the city, overpowered easily of the hard hammering of raw metal. As you hear hundreds of floors being struck and worked, and you hear roaring of fire as the amber orange of lava tubes seem to go much more active down here as you go further deeper into the active volcano parts of this warm mother of the planet. You don't see much as it's sectioned off with a heavy gated off area. Nothing like the Noble Reaches where you had a big open space where you can see into. This one is more of a sectioned off area that has heavy metal walls of various different metals that have been worked into the very stone itself or carved from it. Unknown. With the very gaudy structure of what dwarven architecture is, enhanced with lava at the same time as you hear the metal being forged on the other side. As you go deeper again, once again, to the next floor underneath.
Wow.
That means stopped.
How deep does this thing go?
Too deep.
To here.
Okay, figure out how deep we are.
It's
Make an
just
intelligence check.
I'm good at that, actually. General intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be a 12.
Or an investigation, if you wish.
Investigation would probably be better.
You're not proficient in investigation.
Nope.
So it's still 12.
12.
12. Deep.
Quiet.
where? How? Where?
Hazel's a little green.
Do we know where this person that you need to find is? Is it
Yeah,
all
the
way
old
down?
frog.
All the way at the bottom.
As you get to the last level that you need to get onto, and it actually is the stopping point, and there is further down into the reaches, but you're now starting to see the stone structure and the architecture of the dwarven area now long and expansive with various stone pillars. You're seeing more tent areas, and you're seeing the stone structures scarred and cracked in areas, and seems to be still in process of work and remake. As you hear more hammering of stone, chiseling of workers, and various explosions.
Last mining.
Last night.
What do you, Derick? You are nodding. Why are you nodding?
It's dwarven mining.
Yep.
The
Let's
boom,
get to
the
the
boom,
frog
the
place.
booms are dwarven mining. How are they making booms?
I do believe they call it
So when a daddy dwarf and a mommy dwarf get together.
blasting powder.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
So are you? Wow.
Oh, you
I'm gonna make an executive order and say that that's gonna stop now.
No, that's gonna be the title of the episode. It's just when a mommy and a daddy.
Da, 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 da.
Anyhow,
I do believe they call it blasting powder.
it's what makes those
It's
people
very
we
efficient
saw
at
that
moving
we don't
rocks.
know anything about those guns that we don't know anything about. That's what they
Just to
make
let
us
you
know.
know, the gun was in the car,
I
and it was tossed and definitely looked at.
But they didn't take it.
They
know. It was hidden.
make an investigation check.
It was hidden on the cart. That's what we were.
That's why
Roll
we
good,
asked
roll
if
good,
everything
roll
was
good,
in the
roll
cart.
good.
Go ahead.
Net 20.
Okay, and that was for what? Investigation or
Investigation or insight, one of the two.
insight? I will take insight. So that's a 22.
22. Okay. Going back a tiny bit,
They didn't find the
but
trap.
looking at how it was tossed and everything, it looked like it was taken. It was rustled through, and it looks like the documents were actually looked through, and it looks like all the bullets, the ammunition, and the cleaning supplies, and the functionality of the weapon has been noted in some way, shape, or form, because it wasn't just tossed; it was placed back in. Because they probably realized that you were working for a certain son.
And they're like, oh shit, put it back.
Yeah. And they're not
They
allowed
can
to ask.
have
they
this.
take
Oh wait,
note
we
of
can't
it.
have it. We can't. No, put it back. Put it back.
You'd have
put
to
it
shoot
back.
them.
It's still there in the cart.
It's still there in the
Alright.
car, but it was definitely
Looked at. Okay.
and definitely.
So how much further to
Not
the
much we
frog
can do.
place?
Yes. Ye old frog.
Yeah, that place.
Ribbit.
So, continuing forward, as you're passing various tents and carts, as wagons are being moved and various debris is being moved out of place, as you're starting to hit more of a mining region. And this is actually the region of Girdun. Girdun is the region that is down here that is apparently still under remake and under construction of whatever happened here. Or just re-excavating of what was lost. As many civilizations were buried under rubble of what happened after the gods were evoked from this region, from this world.
There's no gods.
Not evoked, but exorcised.
So there's no gods in this world?
They are separated away. They have a much harder time reaching. Make a history check real quick.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, apparently the high god said time the gods to go, so they took him away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
I don't need no stinking gods.
Passing various different sections, you've seen one dwarven architecture after another, seemingly different and expansive in each one. You finally find yourself after going with green pillars that go up several good 50 feet into the air. That seems to be expansive and used had some sort of purpose and design, but now is just has a shanty town of various miners and people and equipment and tents that are currently just squatting here and seem to be bedding down for the night of miners that are either rebuilding the place or mining for supplies. As you see various, as you did pass various mining areas that dug down deeper or have extracted more metal. You find yourself looking, finally, after a good 2 hours of movement through the city, occasionally having to flash the symbol to make sure that you're on the right path and making sure that you're like, okay, you're good, go ahead. Not many though. It was only like, yeah, the multi-pass. Quite literally, you only had to do it once.
Okay.
This is my do whatever I want and get away with it rock.
For the most part, not be careful what you do. But you find yourself in a, you're looking at a place that has wood. Okay, it looks like a giant crack out of the side of the wall that has been filled up with various wooden and stone bits. And you notice the front entrance of the bar with a cracked window and a sign outward that has an old frog that has a giant beard and just slacking back with a nice big beer belly, holding a frog leg roasted, and a big cup that's slightly spilling of him just nodding off.
So this place is a hole in the wall.
Quite literally.
Literally a hole in the wall.
As various people are
totem
going
hole?
in and out.
No, thank you. Alrighty.
Looking around, it's definitely the sketchy part of town, as you see mostly abandoned rubbles and buildings and structures that have not been fully moved or rebuilt yet. And the various buildings that you do have are mostly wood or various pieces of scraps and rubble that are questionable at best.
Yeah, I'm not wearing my hood.
Okay.
Because I gave her my cloak earlier, so I've just been.
I would have given you back the cloak.
I'm good. I want to walk through this place like I own the place.
Alright, I guess I'll keep wearing the cloak then.
Okay, you burst through the door that's a heavy
You're the
door.
one trying to hide your walk and everything, so I'm like.
You burst through the door, which is heavily built and very wide, actually.
This is. Oh, I should burst.
No, it's just
I
a good
burst.
thing too.
So you said you're walking in like you own the place.
Well, yeah, but
Okay.
I don't want to break the door if I own the place.
You touch the door, and it's actually about twice as thick as you thought. So odds are, most likely not.
What's your strength again?
Dwarves live here.
Oh, fuck. Oh, right.
Reaches over top.
It's well made,
This will be a
actually.
failed
And how
shoulder
it's built
check
and stuff
real
like that,
quick.
even though it's a hole in the wall, and how it's made and everything, the wood is an excellent craftsmanship, and the door is a heavy oak door that has a heavy metal hinges and everything, and it looks like it can be locked on the inside with a heavy reinforcement bar.
Okay, Magnificent 8 guy, do your thing.
All right.
You hear a little bit of music, and it sounds like mostly composed of heavy going drum, and some sort of stringed instrument inside.
I'll make my way over to the bartender. You guys can
Oh, you
grab
did?
yourself
You're
something to eat.
outside the door. Okay, you open the door, and you find yourself this hole in the wall that has actually very expansive left to right, almost like a horseshoe fashion. As you see a bar that is curved around, good 50 feet around at the part of the front area that has just been carved out in this small into a massive dwarven bar. As you see the various liquor, scotches, expensive booze on the wall, and taps that are just lining the region. And you see behind glass panes a home brewery behind the glass panes, and you see various people working the barrels, turning the barrels, making sure that they're taken care of, and taking a couple of them out to be tapped and placed onto the bar themselves when they're ready. At the same time, as it goes around in a horseshoe fashion, as far as you can see, it lined into the walls itself that actually embraces this hole-in-the-wall architecture. And it's just roughed out, carved out sections of booths that have been carved out roughly with hardy stone slabs of wood that look like they've just been cut real quick and been sanded a tiny bit so that there's no major nooks and crannies, and just placed into the holes with a natural oak wood table. As you hear the lively music and you hear
Very
laughter
rustic.
and cheering in the background farther into the pub.
Very rustic. I like it.
You see a lot of lowlife in here, yes, but at the same time you see guards, you see townsfolk, you see a couple of villagers.
Dwarven guards or the guards from the Barossa?
There's a lot of dwarfs here, yes, but it is a mixture. But there are a lot more dwarven guards here than medieval guards.
Is there a friend here?
Make a perception check.
I'm going straight to the bar for a drink.
Okay. You find yourself looking at a young female dwarf that has a nice pencil mustache that looks like it's been drawn on, just to have fun kind of deal. And she has a elegant flower tattoo on her left shoulder. And she has a loose but nice bodice. Well, I just said a loose bodice. That doesn't work. Anyway, she has a bodice on and she's dressed for a party. And she just looks like, well, howdy.
All these words
Excuse
sound
me.
roughly the same.
Well, howdy, how can I help you?
I need a drink.
Well, so do I. So here we go. You buy me one, I buy you one. How's that?
Sure.
Okay.
It's that kind of place.
And she, anything?
What's halfway decent?
Halfway decent. Well, we got the halfway decent right here. And she just pulls the lever. It's actually called the halfway. That's all it's called.
I love it.
There you go.
Because they get you halfway.
That would be 1 silver.
That's decent.
1 silver?
1 silver.
One pint hit you halfway straight face.
Oh, I do have some. Okay. Yeah.
Or halfway
Yeah,
to first,
halfway.
or halfway to first
Anything,
base.
yeah.
One of the two.
Or
Yeah.
both.
Just meet me halfway.
Just meet me halfway.
Oh my God! There's an ale out there that's called halfway.
Welcome to the Olde Frog. I would ask if this is your first time, but I know it's the first time because I have never seen you here, dear.
Yep. It's been a week.
Great! 2 things. Do not make trouble, otherwise you get the bag. Understood?
Alright.
Alright, especially with you, Tin Can.
I'm just standing in the back.
Does that count as a racial slur?
Yes. Yes.
He's actually one of the ones you need to worry about the least, so.
I'll be the judge of that then.
I kind of peek over so she's now seeing the blue face. Just she has a point.
You know
Holy shit,
what?
you're blue.
This looks like a,
Eat too many blueberries, man? I got a remedy for that.
No, I'm sorry. This isn't a character. I just had a really dirty joke that I need to say for later.
I need to,
Something about waffles?
I need to get off my leg. I sit down. Click. Honk.
He
Him
literally
might have
takes
to
off
work.
his leg and takes out a cigar that seems to be hollowed out on the inside.
Him you might have to worry about, but we'll be as
I
well.
need to get a lighter built into my finger.
That's the next upgrade.
Oh, come on. No one?
Oh, I'll take you, my dear. Come on.
I could.
She takes out a small little torch.
Oh, there we
Like,
go.
Oh, fuck me then.
I just met you.
Is that a no?
Not yet.
It's a not yet. Meaning there's a possibility.
So there's a chance.
I lean in very, very, very close to Sonny. Just has been, to your knowledge,
Have you never been unrude before?
I don't understand that question.
I'm gonna need another.
Varian.
Halfway!
Varian.
Have you ever?
Another silver.
better than
Hey.
another person.
My gentleman?
Oh, no.
Well, are you gonna just stand there looking pretty,
So-
or are you gonna
She
order
was
the
offering to
drink?
have sex.
Actually, I'm
got
looking
that.
for someone.
She's
Perhaps
so
you could
bored.
tell me where various people are.
You're okay
It
with
was
it?
a good.
They're asking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So, Varian, are you saying you've never warbled the turtle?
And now that you have
Turtled
used,
the turtle?
now that
Not-
you have used these
I
wonderful
don't know what
phrases,
that means.
Neither does anybody else. Nobody here has warbled a turtle.
I thought I knew where you were going, and now I don't know.
So you've never gobbled the...
I've never
Trouble.
gobbled anything.
I take a gold piece. I take a
is he
gold
speaking
piece.
Aquan?
Yes, he's speaking crazy. I take a gold piece.
I lean over,
I
just
throw it at her.
no.
One for each.
No, he is not.
One place of halfway!
Keep the change.
Keep it what?
Keep the change. If it's 1 silver, I threw her a gold.
Oh, they go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, and dwarven speaking,
Hang on.
just right. And she puts it in her bodice.
That's a shiny.
But you already bought some.
I'm gonna need another.
4, 6.
A gold is still more than we need to pay. Keep the change.
No, it's perfect change.
Does that keep him warm?
Yes, it does. Ooh, I have to do too much halfway. Oh,
Is there such thing?
You can get to the rest of the way.
She's still being cool to me, even though I'm creepy
oh,
as
I've
fuck.
seen much worse down here. Like, I guess elf? I'll say elf. Welcome to the Olde Frog. We have no judgment here. As long as you have coin, and as long as you are a happy drinker and a good party and a good chat, I don't care.
Okay. And she gives me mine when she's not looking and slide it over to you. And I take your empty cup.
And then I'm just kind of sitting there with the mug.
But what are you waiting for? Drink, drink, drink. Oh, of course, you're bigger. You need something more harsh. And she goes over.
Oh, Jesus.
He can't drink.
Yeah, I
And she, you hear a crack and a pork. As she placed down some sort of green liquid that sizzles.
can. Do you have a straw?
Sure, one moment. She goes
Oh, you
in
have
the
to ask
back.
for them now.
Not one of those paper ones either.
Yeah. It's the
She
same
comes
for
back.
turtles.
Good news! We got a few left.
Yeah, we use metal straws so we can save the turtles.
Yeah, go give it to him. He'll
They're
try.
legitimate metal straws.
They get stuck in their nose or something.
If I see you trying to pull someone's eyes out, you're losing straw privileges. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
need to get like a collateral one.
Alright, Derek, go do your thing.
I'm
I
literally
am.
looking at my car right now.
So what do you need, Anthony?
I was looking for Griff Grindstone. Does he?
Griff's
I was told that
Grindstone?
he comes here often.
Who told you that?
Oh,
It's like a
friend.
penny straw. Just
Which
distribute
friend?
the rest.
Farmer up at the village.
Which farmer?
Metal.
He didn't give me his name.
Of course not. Make a persuasion check.
Of course. A 19.
I'm assuming I have to roll a poison save for this.
I haven't had
Roll it
to
advantage
for
because
like
you're
3.
resistant to poison.
Or like take my mask and just pop the jaw off and stick the metal straw up underneath and it just kind of disappears behind it.
And it does suck.
And then just kind of slowly the drink just goes down at a very continuous rate.
So it's poison, not acid.
It's not battery acid, but it has the same kick.
Ouch.
Yeah. Make a Constitution
Does it do
saving throw at
anything?
advantage because you are resistant. Being the dwarf.
So we'll see what happens in just a moment.
It'll supercharge him.
Making a what save? Con save. No, it was kind of that is going to be an 18.
A 19?
18.
18? Okay. So while this conversation is happening and this is going on,
Literally just
you
sitting there.
finish it down, you place the cup down, you look at everyone. As you see one of his eyes turn off. The second eye turn off.
Like on one side.
Yeah.
Just click, 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 click.
You good, buddy?
As your other eyes turn a strange shade of blue, green, orange.
Blue.
As you start to see the world just start to surf and twist and turn.
Well,
and
there's
you
something to
just
go see every day.
start swaying back and forth like,
So this is a sensation that people drink for.
You good there, buddy?
I mean, okay.
I'm losing feeling in my left hand.
It was delivered with such confidence it took me a second.
I take it that drink had quite a punch to it.
things have gone
Fuck.
Okay, you're cut off. Hey, put your head down. Relax.
May I keep the straw?
You may not keep the straw.
1 gold. May I keep the straw?
You may keep the straw.
It wasn't worth it near that much. But okay.
I only have gold. I don't have any change
He
here.
has a reusable straw now.
You know what?
And
That's
when
going to save our
When he
lives.
takes out
at
the
some
gold and
point.
places it down,
Especially yours.
stop. You stumble and you place it down with a heavy thud.
Someday we're just going to pull it out of his nose.
She takes it. Anyway,
Is there anything left in his drink?
Derick, the grindstone, grindstone. He's in that corner over there, just around the corner.
Thank you. Anything
Don't
else?
anger him.
Is the last thing I want to do, madame.
That's what most people say, but at the same time, he's a very passionate individual.
What's his favorite drink?
Whoa. Okay. Let me 20 gold and I'll make sure that he's nice and tipsy. It's very hard to get him drunk.
I'm not trying to get him drunk. I just want to buy him a drink.
What did you give him?
One of the
Wyvern scales.
Wyvern scales.
Oh my god. If
I do not accept currency besides metal. Give me gold or go away.
Certainly, that must be worse than gold.
Yes, but I'm not a pug that takes everything. I'm not a catch-all. I'm not that kind of lady.
What do you catch?
my friend, she's not the punch.
Oh, I'll get to you, my dear.
Alright.
Don't worry.
I think she wants the
How much was it?
30 gold.
As long as I'm,
You said 30 gold, right?
That's what.
as long as I'm first, I don't care.
She said 20.
No, I said 30.
You said 30.
Wow, that's expensive.
I know.
Fine.
20 gold. That's 20 gold more than I have.
Weakness for Elvish.
Could you spot me 20 gold?
Will you give me 20? You know what? Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I'm just surprised
Sure.
you'd be willing.
I bought the last
20
one.
gold.
I bought the last information here to
Yours was only 10 and he gave up scales.
She's not being intimidated.
I shall return in a moment. Give me 10 minutes. So, as drinks continue to land, as the various bar people come and leave, get tipsy, you are still heavily buzzed and you're drunk at that point.
I would like to continue drinking until I'm there.
Does she mind if we
You
play?
can
a song?
definitely get there, especially with the stuff that they're serving here.
I'm pretty sure that's kind of
There-
an odd sight
there-
seeing a very tipsy warforged.
A little
Do
bit,
you
yeah.
want someone to go
Just a
with
7-foot
you
metal
over
man
there?
just kind of.
You're creaking.
Would
Wow.
probably feel uncomfortable with anybody else going with me.
That's fair.
Is she okay if I play music?
Do you want to take Flan with you?
She doesn't object to it.
That will not be necessary.
I want to help.
Sure. Oh, we do.
Natural 20. Performance +8, so +5.
I'll play both horns
So
at the same
33.
time.
33.
They've got an audience.
What kind of tune are you playing, if I may ask?
Happy tune.
Happy tune. Happy bar music coming up.
A drinking game song.
Wanna
Over
dance?
10 minutes,
I
it
take it you're
goes
not
like
singing
that.
that
As you
before?
hear,
Oh my god.
What?
I want to see this.
What?
Just
what happened?
I asked if he wanted to dance.
Okay, so hold on. As feet start pounding and more people are starting to come in and getting more drinks, you begin to play along with your brother Barian and begin sort of heavy, happy, just foot-stomping song with a drum and a horn. As Gaunt actually joins in too with a hurdy-gurdy as they all join together. And so not much words, but just keep going on as you give occasional grunts and happy cheers, almost like an Irish.
Jig?
Like an Irish gig a little bit.
Jig.
Sorry, not gig.
It's something. What little words there are, I feel like it's easy to quickly pick up.
Oh yeah, it's a good drinking song kind of do. It just gets people going.
Still sitting at the bar every time the word I can tell that you're gonna sing. It's just. And I just shout along with you. And after a while, once I figure out the words, I start translating it, so I'll shout in a different language.
Yeah.
You guys are doing. What do you speak Draconic or something? I'm just shouting in Sylvan.
So this is the part where the smallest person in the group and the biggest person in the
I'm
group.
5'7", I'm not the smallest.
He's not actually.
I'm envisioning some weird
He's a
prom
full
date.
foot shorter than I am.
Yes.
I'm envisioning some weird prom date. Where
Do a dex check for me, please.
I did.
Wait,
Um,
how tall is Derick?
I found roll it.
6 feet.
6 flat?
What'd you roll?
I'm 6'1". I'm the
21.
second tallest.
21. It's at disadvantage because you're technically
but I'm resistant to poison.
yes, but you're not.
But you're
Even,
also drunk.
Okay, fine.
yeah.
19. So it's still 21.
So, as you guys get up, as people start to cheer along and go at it as the heavy dwarvish nature, just like the time when you went into the other city and saw them having lunch, it starts to get very, very noisy, just like that. As you hear cheers of music, clanking the tankers, as a dwarven forge and as a
Human?
Forge?
human.
Yes. Dwarven Forge.
You're about 5.
Not a Dwarven Forge.
How tall are you?
Sorry, Warforged.
I think we can take a break.
He's 5'7".
Yeah, as you guys get up and start to join along, yes, I understand.
At this point, am I drunk too, or?
Yeah, you're definitely tipsy. So going to roll dex check at disadvantage.
This is the most biological I've been in years.
Well,
Well, that's a 9 and a 1.
9 and 1.
You're just swinging around like a ragdoll.
Sparks, you're bringing her up and twisting her around. You are getting very dizzy quickly as he's just manhandling you. And he's not.
That's fine. I'm having fun still.
You're having fun.
I'm getting thrown around, but I'm having
Thrown
fun.
around,
spirals
spawn.
out because you're.
You think you hit a couple of dwarves around with your feet as you're being spun around, just wee. Yeah, and people every now and again
You're just like throwing me up in the
and a
air.
couple of people laughing and screaming and dwarves and just
spin you
pointing
around.
and laughing as things are coming out. And then you hear a cheer in the background, and you hear slapping of meat, heavy, hard footsteps, and another cheer. Yeah! Another heavy slap of meat, and another one, and a crack of breaking of wood. As you hear a commotion in the back, as people are starting to cheer along with you, and you hear another what sounds like a fight between a couple of dwarves going at each other,
That's not our fault.
having a good time as a dwarf fight has happened on. As you finish the song, the dwarf lady comes up. He's good and ready. He's had a good fight. He's had a good drink on someone that he doesn't know. Frankly, he doesn't care. It's a good drink. I think he's ready.
Thank you.
Good luck. If you get into a fight, no weapons. That makes him angrier.
So
I'll keep that in mind.
Don't let him rip your arms off. It just makes him angry.
So Barian, let me get this straight. You've never grunted
Oh
the
my
half
God.
shell?
What the fuck does that even mean?
I
know.
don't think you want to know what it means.
Grunting the half shell?
I don't think I've ever wanted
Do you mean fuck?
So, Derick.
Watch your language, lady. But
Is that
yes,
what you're asking?
yes.
No, I'm only 35.
Derick, get around the corner. You know
I'm 25.
I'm your elder.
Hey, we're about the same age.
I'm like mid-50s.
Well, then surely you've.
I have like another 400 years to worry about that
Really?
stuff.
Gentlemen,
Wow.
so
Big
that we can
surprise.
get to the break. Derek, going around the corner, you notice that there's a sand pit in the back, in a giant horseshoe-shaped area that you guys are in. And you get into the back, and amongst the various dwarves that are betting on each other, you notice in the sand pit, we're surrounded maybe about 10, 15 dwarves right now. 3 dwarves going at a single individual. There are big, muscly individuals that have their shirts torn off, and one of them is currently taking a piece of broken part of the chair that are various bits and roughage that has been thrown into the sand pit that are being used as various knickknacks for further beatings, and is currently using the baseball bag, heavy slaps of wood onto contact of meat of this giant bear of a dwarf, covered in black ink tattoos that are simple in nature but very dwarven in nature, that are going across this wide door frame body of a frame that dwarves that are muscly, are strong and very wide looking. This looked like he ate a horse and then went over for a second with a land shark. Wow. He is wide, thick, and it looks like he has no neck. That's how thick he fucking is.
Thick. He's thick like 12 C's.
I think that might be the bear.
Yeah. As you see a rolling muscle, as you see hair across his entire body, his thick beard that goes down to his chin, that is flowing free and tangled like a wild animal, as his hair is equally done so with 3 heavy brass rings holding it in place. As he's just taking on as he's drinking a heavy cup of cider of some sort, and takes the mug and just slams it into the other dwarf's face, knocking him down as his nose is concaved into his fucking face, as he takes the chest of the other dwarf, lifts it up, and headbutts him and tosses him to the sides, and takes the other guy and just stares at him. As the other guy is just like, come on! And takes him and whacks him into the thigh. And kicks him across the field. As you now see this grizzled, barely can see his fucking face as the beard is taken up into his entire face. As you see his dark grizzled skin, as in the very skin parts that you see is thick and hide-like, that is not covered by the tattooing. You can see that. As you see thick calluses and big bulging bare chest man wearing nothing but short pants that are slightly ripped.
At least he's not
Dwarven
green.
version of the Hulk.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, at least he's not green. Because then he would be like me.
As he makes eye contact now, winner! And everyone goes, winner! As he takes another glass that he has behind him, now he has like 6 mugs behind him, and just go, smash! And takes another one, go, smash! Taking another one, go, smash! And that is where we're going to take our small break.
Wow.
I want to fight him.
Me first.
And
or together.
Thank you,
now
everyone.
that would be
Entertaining.
grunting the half shell.
We're gonna take a break.
So, everyone, we're going to take a small break. We will see you next week on part 2 of episode 11. See you soon. Bye-bye. And stay tuned.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to have the complete versions of every single art piece by Quinn Milne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So make sure you watch it through. Because it is sexy art.
Yep. Coming right up right now.
Right now. Take care, everyone. I hope you had a good time.
Bye.
We'll have more fun in the next episode.
Keep on rolling.